combined runs in that second inning. Now, the NIU Huskies had the week off. They last played last weekend, so Bobcats coming in off a little bit of a shorter rest, but long enough for everybody, all the pitchers and everyone, to get back to where they need to be.
Jacob Tate on the mound for the Bobcats, the 6'6" left-hander from Louisville, Tennessee. Kentucky transfer, the redshirt senior facing Eric Arado, who is the left fielder for the Huskies, and he punches that one back. 1 ball and 2 strikes. So this is the first weekend of action on the diamond for these two teams. Ohio comes in with a 4-6 record overall. Northern Illinois 3-10.
Yeah, I would think the Huskies are pretty excited to be back in action, Sam. I mean, they played LSU 2 times. That's number 2 team in the country at the time they played them. That's an unbelievable team. Tommy Tanks down there, tough guy to pitch to. That's a big part of the reason why they have a 10 ERA as a team, I would say. Abilene Christian's a great team, great baseball team. They played Iowa, UC, and they're not done after this series. They're going to go to Purdue.
Here's a ground ball towards second. Alex Finney throws low, and Ohio is struggling with some of those errors this season, and unfortunately for the Bobcats, that continues. Ohio has, I want to say, 5 or 6 throwing errors already this season, and that's something that has frustrated Coach Moore, the head coach.
Absolutely, and he said that's the thing you work on every practice. I mean, baseball practices will always start with people playing catch, for 10, 15 minutes. So throwing is one of the things that you expect to be consistent, and it just hasn't been for these Bobcats.
So Eric Arado's at first, and here's Andre Demetrol, who drops down a beautiful drag bunt that stays fair. Ohio was waiting for it to drift foul, but it hugged the turf. There's no dirt on the infield here at Bob Wren Stadium, and Northern Illinois with runners at first and second, nobody out to start this game.
That's an unbelievable bunt, Sam, right down that line on the third base side, and Taylor Gill thought that one was going to spin foul. It looked like it was going to spin foul the way that it was turning on the turf in the infield, but it stayed right on that line, and that was a nice bunt.
And this is the guy you want up if you are Northern Illinois with runners on base. Colin Summerhill. He takes low, ball 1. We apologize for some of the technical difficulties. We are back and running here for game 1 of 3 this weekend. We've got 2 games today here in Athens to open up the Maction. 1-0 is low, 2 balls and no strikes to Colin Summerhill, the senior from Chicago, Illinois. 347 average coming into today, and he is tied for 3rd in the nation with 7 home runs. And he waves through the off-speed for strike 1. Jacob Tate in a big spot right here.
He's slugging nearly 900, Sam, at 878. I mean, he's got 3 doubles, a triple, and 7 home runs on the season so far, so he's getting plenty of extra base hits. And the Bobcats have had a problem with starting slow all season so far, as he just whiffs through that one right there. Looks like he did go, but the Bobcats with the guy on first and second already, it hasn't been walks or as bad, which it has been in the last couple of games, but still – big-time batter up here with a guy on first and second. Tough spot for the Bobcats. Jacob Tate's going to have to come through here.
2-2 whizzes up and away. 3 balls and 2 strikes to the catcher, Colin Summerhill. And you talked about the walks. That has been an issue for both of these teams. In the prior weekend, Ohio pitching 19 walks, 19 strikeouts. Dead even as the 3-2 is blasted foul to the right side. It remains 3 balls and 2 strikes with Andy Demetrol at first. Bunt single. Eric Arado reached on a throwing error by Alex Finney. Here comes the 3-2 pitch, and that is downstairs, ball 4. Bases are loaded. This is a tough spot for the Bobcats here.
And that's one of the scary things, I think, for the Bobcats right now with Arado on third, is that when they don't walk people and the ball gets hit in play, they have trouble fielding it. So as much as you can tell your pitchers, hey, avoid the walks, put the ball in the zone, let your defense do the work, their defense hasn't been doing the work. So I think maybe the pitchers are a little bit more, they're trying to put it on the corners instead of a little bit more in a spot that they can hit it, because they don't trust their defense maybe as much so far this season.
Here's Mason Kelly First baseman at the plate for Northern Illinois, senior from Mount Washington, Kentucky, hitting .300 this season, making his 14th start. 0-1 is low, 1 ball and 1 strike to Mason Kelly, the first baseman for the Huskies. Difficult spot here for Ohio. Corner infielders are in. 1 ball and 1 strike the count with the bases loaded. And this pitch is lifted in the air, shallow left field. A.J. Roush is there. Runner tags from third. Arado, he'll slide in safely. Sacrifice fly RBI for Mason Kelly. And Northern Illinois is on the board first, 1-0.
That's a good piece of hitting there from Mason Kelly. He knows man on third, less than 2 outs. All you got to do is lift one into the outfield. Looked like maybe there was a chance right there for A.J. Roush to get a throw home as he was moving in to catch that baseball, but still just too deep. Arado's speed was too much.
The defense surrounding Jacob Tate, we just highlighted him, A.J. Roush at the left fielder spot. Gideon Antles in center. Paulie Mancino is in right after getting the day off on Tuesday. First pitch up and away to Aaron Harper. 1 ball and no strikes. Taylor Gill is at third base. J.R. Nelson, the freshman shortstop. Alex Finney at second. Bryce Smith is at first. And Jackson Cawthron is at the catcher's spot. 1-0 is right down the pipe. 1 ball and 1 strike. Jacob Tate making his 4th start of the season. His last outing against University of Illinois Chicago, 4 innings, 4 earned runs, but 5 walks. That was the big issue and something that Ohio pitching has to fix down the stretch, especially starting out here in MAC play.
Yeah, I mean, taking a look at Jacob Tate's whip, it's .203. He's allowing about 2 guys on base every inning he pitches, which is just too much right now at this level, and a lot of it is the walks that you mentioned before.
2 balls and 2 strikes with 1 down here in the top of the first inning. Northern Illinois leads 1-0. That run unearned. 2-2. Called strike 3 on the inside corner. So Jacob Tate records his first strikeout, looking the backwards K, and a big out because the runners can't advance.
Looked like there was a lot of arm side run on that one there from Jacob Tate. As you saw, Aaron Harper flinched a little bit and in the box right there. Thought it was going to come a little bit inside, and it didn't. Still ran back out over the plate, and he looked back at the umpire after that called strike 3 call. That was a good pitch right there by Tate.
First pitch is a called strike to J.P. Gauthier. J.P. is making his season debut after coming back from an injury, starting right fielder today.
Broke his hamate bone in the preseason this year, and like you said, this is his debut. He was expected to be the center fielder, but the freshman Charlie Parcell took over that spot pretty quickly. He's been fantastic out there in center field, so Gauthier is going to be playing right field today.
Yeah, we had a chance to speak with Northern Illinois head coach Ryan Copeland, who highlighted how sure-handed Charlie Parcell is in center field for just a freshman. Gauthier willing to take the role and move over to right field. 1-2, called strike 3, and Jacob Tate bounces back. 1 run allowed, but that's it. It could have been a whole lot worse given how that inning started. So we head to the bottom of the first inning. Bobcats bat for the first time today. Game 1 of our doubleheader this morning and into the afternoon from Bob Wrenn Stadium. It's 1-0 NIU. Bottom of the first inning here from Bob Wren Stadium. NIU 1, Ohio nothing. Back with Zach Mothersbaugh and our field reporter Kylie Osko. My name is Sam Hyman. Thanks for being here as we get set for the first look at the Bobcat offense. DH Cole Williams leads off, and the count is 1-1 strike. Ty Brockbill is on the mound for NIU. The 6'2" right-hander from Shelbyville, Illinois. He's just a freshman. 1-2, good start.
And as much as we talked about the Bobcat struggles on the defensive side, it's been the opposite on this offensive side. Their OPS is over 800 as a team right now, which is incredibly impressive, hitting .282. So as much as they give up on that defensive side, they come back and take it on the offensive side.
Brockbill working quickly. The 2-2 pitch is fouled off to the left side. 2 strikes. And Ty Brockbill coming into this game, we spoke to Coach Copeland of NIU, and he said originally Ty was committed to University of Illinois Springfield, a Division II school, as this is punched on the ground towards third base. Harper is up with it, and that is the first out in the bottom of the first inning. Taylor Gill heads to the plate for the Bobcats. So Ty Brockbill originally committed to University of Illinois Springfield. That was where Ryan Copeland coached prior to taking this job at NIU. So follows coach to NIU. And Coach Copeland said Ty is probably our best pitcher so far. It's effortless for him out there. Will be about 88 to 92 miles per hour, maybe touch around 93 occasionally with the fastball. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. And that is outside for a ball.
That's very impressive for a freshman to come in and be performing the way Brockbill is. 4.91 ERA. That's one of the lowest on the team so far. They've had a lot of pitching struggles, but we mentioned their really tough schedule so far.
2-0 pitch is right down the pipe for a called strike. 2-1. Yeah, it's been a struggle for NIU pitching. Ryan Copeland did not shy away from acknowledging that. 2-1 is blasted in the air down the left field line. Long run for Eric Arado, and he makes the play for out number 2. So going back to NIU's last series over the weekend, last weekend against Cincinnati, Husky pitching, 31 walks, 29 strikeouts, and that's where the discrepancy needs to not just even out, 29-29. You're looking at hoping to have more walks, significantly more strikeouts than walks, as Gideon Antle grounds out off the first pitch he sees to retire the side. That's exactly what you want. Ty Brockbill, 1-2-3, go the Bobcats. We go to the second inning right after this from Bob Wren Stadium. 1-0, Northern Illinois. Are we back? Top of the second inning. Northern Illinois with a 1-0 lead over Ohio. Back with Zach Mothersbaugh, Kylie Osco as our field reporter. I'm Sam Hyman. Jacob Tate back on the mound for the Bobcats, making his 4th start of the season. And Tate off to a good start in this at-bat. 0-2 to Cooper Cone, the designated hitter for the Huskies.
Tate's been working outside so far on Cone. He took the first pitch and then waved through that second one, and back outside he goes. Looks like they have a nice scouting report on Cone. Maybe he doesn't like that outside pitch.
1 ball and 2 strikes as Tate gets ready and fires. That balloons up and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Cooper Cone hitting .333 in just 6 games, 6 out of the 13 total for the Huskies this season. 2-2 is just low, a fastball, 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Can't lose him here if you're Jacob Tate, starting this count 0-2. You can't walk the leadoff guy. That's been a problem for the Bobcats, as we talked about before.
Yeah, Jacob Tate in his last start issued 5 walks. Ended up going 4 innings, but 5 walks certainly hurt him in that appearance. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Cooper Cone, the 7th place hitter. And this one's hammered in the air to left center field. Here comes the center fielder, Antle, and he traps it, but can't make the catch. Cooper Cone is up and at second base easily with a leadoff double.
He got all of that one, Sam, and hit it into the perfect spot on the opposite side. Gideon Antle was shaded the other way for Cooper Cone, and he pulled it into left center field. Antle got a good jump, almost made it there, but just as you said, trapped it under his glove, ended up rolling to the left fielder, A.J. Roush.
Here comes the number 8 hitter in Northern Illinois' lineup, Charlie Parcell, the freshman center fielder. Parcell squares to bunt, pitches outside, 1 ball and no strikes. So Charlie Parcell, he's been the table setter for the majority of the early going this season, but has had some difficulties hitting left-handed pitching. Here's a ground ball softly struck towards first. Easy play for Bryce Smith, and that is exactly what you want out of Charlie Parcell there as Cooper Cone moves up to third base.
That's a really good piece of hitting there by Parcell, as you said, being able to pull it onto that right side to allow the runner to advance to third with less than 2 outs. And as you mentioned, Parcell used to be the leadoff hitter here for the Huskies, but was moved down in the order. You talked about the struggles that he's had really overall and against left-handed pitching. It's not incredibly uncommon for left-handed hitters to move down in the lineup when a left-handed pitcher comes up, because that's about as tough a matchup as you can get, lefty on lefty. Especially here for the long, wiry Jacob Tate.
Jake Nelson, second baseman at the plate, and he scorches this one foul to the right side. 1 ball and 1 strike with 1 out in the top of the second inning. Huskies lead 1-0 in the first game of 2 today. We'll have a doubleheader today because of some anticipated rain in the forecast later on this weekend. The 1-2 pitch. Curveball is struck foul right side.
And he's done it 2 times already this at-bat. I wouldn't be shocked if Jake Nelson's looking to go to right field with this one. Stay back for a little bit, wait on it, see it through the zone, and then just push it to right field. All you're looking for is a sac fly here with the guy on first as that pitch goes high. So he'll be looking, no matter what it is, fastball or curveball, I'm assuming he'll be looking to just pop it out to right field.
Yeah, that's one thing we saw Northern Illinois do a great job of in the first inning. Mason Kelly had a sacrifice fly RBI. 2-2 maneuvers in tight. 3 balls and 2 strikes to the right-handed hitting center fielder, the right-handed hitting second baseman, Jake Nelson. 3-2. Again fouled off. A good AB for Jake Nelson, who makes his 13th start today. He struggled at the plate this season, hitting .200, looking to drive in just his 2nd run of the season. Ground ball through past the diving J.R. Nelson. Jake Nelson drives in Cooper Cone, and the Huskies lead 2-0 extra hustle as well for Nelson. He ends up at second base.
Took advantage of that infield that was moved up to try and make a play at home, and shortstop for the Bobcats, J.R. Nelson, just couldn't dive on top of that one. Got through, and as you said, he hustled all the way for a double. That one grounded into left center field, and A.J. Roush and Gideon Antle just couldn't get there in time.
So that's just the second RBI of the season for Jake Nelson. Out of the 9-spot, lineup turns over to Eric Arado, and Arado pokes it foul left side. 0-1 the count. So Northern Illinois, we talked a little bit about this earlier, but they have played their non-conference weekend series leading up to this point. It's been all 4-game sets. So being able to only have a 3-game set this weekend, that helps, according to Ryan Copeland, not utilizing so many arms, not having to tax your bullpen. And they didn't have a midweek game this week, so that really helps in terms of getting prepared for this weekend against the Bobcats. Here comes the 1-1, and this is struck right up the middle. A screaming line drive past Tate and Nelson. Here comes Jake Nelson, who scores standing. And the Huskies making a statement early, up 3-0 here in the MAC opener.
Good job there by Eric Arado, just pushing that one up the middle. And we talked to Coach Copeland, as you mentioned before. He said that Eric Arado really knows himself as a hitter, able to spread the ball throughout the whole field. So that's why he's a lefty hitting leadoff, as we talked about the freshman lefty getting moved down in the order, because he's a little bit more patient. He sees the ball into the zone a little bit more, and is able to spread the ball around the field. So a good leadoff hitter, as you saw right there, pushing that one up the middle.
Andre Demetral, the shortstop at the plate, drag bunt single his last time up. Runner at first, only 1 out. And going back to Eric Arado, and you talked about the conversation we had with Coach Copeland about Eric. Eric's been a little bit too patient this season. Coach said, we've gotten a little frustrated with Eric because of how willing he is to take pitches. And certainly he received that message and has been aggressive in this game with an RBI single and also reached back in the first inning. They actually, according to the scorebook, that first ball put in play by Eric Arado ruled a hit, not an error on Alex Finney.
And I'm not so sure that Coach Moore is going to see it the same way over there in that Bobcat dugout. As we mentioned, he's not a big fan of the throwing errors so far. As Arado steals second on that pitch right there, it gets himself in scoring position. But I'm sure Coach Moore is going to tell his team that that was a throwing error, and they've got to clean that up.
Yeah, I think going back to that, Eric Arado has a lot of speed. He sprinted up that first base line, and even if Finney's throw was on time, it would have been a little late, or not on time. Even if his throw was accurate, you'd think that Eric Arado would have been there safely. That's the explanation as to why that was officially ruled a single, an infield single, and not an error, a throwing error by Alex Finney. 2-2 pitch with a runner at second. Popped up behind home plate, and Jackson Cawthron makes the grab for out number 2. Demetral retired, and here comes Colin Summerhill, the catcher who walked his first time up.
Pitch on the corners against Colin Summerhill last time for Jacob Tate. Let's see if he goes a little bit more right after him. There is an open base on first right now, but I don't expect that they're going to, and never mind, they are going to actually intentionally walk him. I was going to say pitch around him, and they didn't even bother pitching around him. They intentionally walked him.
The dangerous Colin Summerhill, who is top 10, now officially tied for third nationally with 7 home runs. He also has 21 RBIs. So respected by the Bobcats. His second walk, first intentional pass today. Can Mason Kelly make Ohio pay? Sac fly RBI his first time up. Off speed is struck on the ground towards J.R. Nelson at short, fires it over to first. Bryce Smith picks it up off the turf. and that retires the side. Northern Illinois adds to its lead. It's 3-0 Huskies in the MAC opener this weekend. Game 1 of 2 for our doubleheader here today. We'll be back in a moment from Bob Wrenn Stadium. We are live here at Bob Wrenn Stadium alongside Zach Mothersbaugh. I'm Sam Hyman. Kylie Osko is our field reporter. Glad you're with us for baseball in Athens. 3-0 Northern Illinois, and it's A.J. Roush who leads off for the Bobcats and takes a strike, 0-1. Ty Brockbill locked in, 3 up, 3 down on the mound in inning number 1, and he's back to work here against the heart of the order, A.J. Roush, Jackson Cawthron, and Paulie Mancino. Quickly 0-2.
A.J. Roush squared a bunt that first pitch and just got pranked by the curveball that dropped in, pulled a bat back. I don't know if he was going to commit to it or not, but if he was, he did not see that curveball first pitch coming.
That was some naughty prank, ding-dong door ditch-esque. 1-2. Low, 2 balls and 2 strikes. So A.J. Roush, the redshirt junior from Powell, Ohio, out of Olentangy Liberty High School. He's hitting 316 this season with 10 RBIs, making his 11th start of the season. And he just stays alive. That barely missed. Full count, 3-2.
OPS over 1,000 this season for A.J. Roush, which is way above, honestly, where you want it. As he pops that one, looks like foul out of play to the right side, but he's been doing a good job getting bat on ball behind Gideon Antle.
Yes, Gideon Antle. We didn't get a chance to really talk about Gideon in his first at bat because he swung at the first pitch. That's how aggressive he's been this season. Here's the 3-2, and that is outside, ball 4. A.J. Roush walks for the 5th time this season, and that'll bring up Jackson Cawthron, the catcher, who did not play on Tuesday in the roller coaster ride that was 21-19, the final score on Tuesday against Youngstown State. We asked Coach Moore one word to describe that game, and he said wild. He said he's never been a part of a game as this pitch is lifted in the air to right field. Cawthron is retired on 1 pitch. Roush remains at first. We asked Coach Moore one word to describe that 21-19 final score. And Coach Moore said wild. He went on to say, I've never been a part of a game where there were 20 runs scored in 1 inning, 10 in the top, 10 in the bottom. I don't think I'll see that again. I got to be honest.
I don't think very many people will see that ever again. And I think if you asked Jackson Cawthron whether or not he wanted to be a part of that game as a catcher, I think he might say no in the squat there for a long time. So if you're going to miss a game as a catcher, that's got to be the one.
Yes, I agree. Good day off for Jackson. Paulie Mancino grounds this one to short, and Demetral bobbles and has some difficulty. Everybody's safe. Andre Demetral, the shortstop, indecisive, and that's a tricky situation because you're thinking, all right, slow roller, maybe I have a chance to turn two, and then as soon as you have that second thought, boom, you're done, and you have no play.
Yeah, and coaches will tell you that you got to figure out where you want to go with the ball before the ball is hit, and obviously that was a slow roller, so he's probably right between going to second and going to first, but you want to be a little bit more confident when that ball is coming to you, and maybe you just take that easy throw at first and get the out, but now there's 2 men on with 1 out here for the Bobcats.
That goes down as an infield single for Paulie Mancino, the freshman. Alex Finney, second baseman at the plate, the number 7 hitter in Ohio's order. Ty Brockbill fires, and that darts down and away. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Mancino hitting just 176 so far on the season with a 587 OPS. Struggled early on so far this year.
He has. He's got a lot of promise, though. According to Coach Moore, 1-1 is fouled off, 1-2 to Alex Finney. Ty Brockbill, the freshman pitcher from Shelbyville, Illinois. One of the best pitchers in Shelbyville high school history, set the school's single season and career records in strikeouts. Doesn't get the strikeout there as that maneuvers up and in. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Alex Finney.
And we've seen that promise so far today. I mean, he's only given up the 1 hit that went to the shortstop that I think could have very easily been an out, as picked off there at first by the catcher.
Ohio makes a bit of a mistake. Paulie Mancino caught in between first and second. Too large of a secondary lead. And that's a huge out, number 2 for Northern Illinois when Ohio was knocking on the door.
That was a great play there by Colin Summerhill. Must have seen Mancino leaning on first base over there. And like you said, too big of a secondary lead. I think you got to be a little bit more cautious with a guy like Colin Summerhill behind the plate, not just good at hitting, shows his defensive prowess there too.
3 balls and 2 strikes to Alex Finney with 2 down in the bottom of the second inning. 3-0 Northern Illinois. Game 1 of our doubleheader today. 3-2 fouled back. Finney continues to battle. 5th-year guy. He's grinded through his Ohio Bobcat career. .235 average this season. 9th start today. He only played in 12 games in his first 2 seasons at Ohio. 3-2 is crushed down the left field line. It's fair. A.J. Roush scores. Alex Finney turn up with a double. 2 outs in the bottom of the second inning. Bobcats on the board.
We've seen that curveball here from Brockbill give a lot of players trouble, but it did not give Alex Finney trouble there. He was able to hang back on it and yank it down that left field line for a double. That was an incredible piece of hitting there by Finney to pick up that 2-out RBI, which is huge for the Bobcats. Gets him within 2, gets him on the board, and gets him a little energy.
Finney's 9th RBI of the season, and look out, Bryce Smith is caught by surprise. Ty Brockbill with a sensational catch at the pitcher's mound. How in the world did he stay composed?
That was down at his ankles, I think. It's not one of those where it was just smacked right back into his glove. I mean, that was near his shin, and he reached down and caught that ball, and that was an RBI waiting to happen if that got through.
Wow. Fireworks there to end the bottom of the second inning. Ohio does indeed get on the board. It is 3-1, Northern Illinois in front. We go to the 3rd inning after this from Bob Wrenn Stadium. We are back here at Bob Rent Stadium with Zach Mothersbaugh, Kylie Osko, our field reporter. I'm Sam Hyman. Aaron Harper leads off for Northern Illinois. Wow, if we had a replay of it, we'd show it to you. My gracious, Ty Brockbill had a sensational catch on the pitcher's mound. Line drive right back at him, and he was not phased. That's a freshman who, I don't know. I mean, he just stuck his glove down and caught it.
I think that was a little bit more of a defense mechanism there from Brockbill to make that play than it was jumping all over that line drive, but made the catch nonetheless.
Aaron Harper grounds out to second, one down in the top of the third inning. Northern Illinois with a 3-1 lead. Ohio has had its difficulties starting off strong. This is a Bobcat team coming in 4-6 on the season, and 5 of their 6 losses they've trailed first to start the game. So that's been a huge issue for them, trying to come from behind, and unfortunately, that's what has led to some of these losses. But it didn't lead to their last game's result because they battled back from being down 13-1. J.P. Gauthier at the plate for the Huskies. So you have to think Jacob Tate is, he might be on a short leash if this thing trickles out of hand.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, they've had a tough time, I think, about first 3 innings in that Sunday game last week against UIC. They went down 5-0 and just couldn't come back from that deficit. And then on Tuesday, they go down 13-1 in the first 3 innings, and all of a sudden they end up winning that game, putting up 21 runs. So that's not sustainable in any way, shape, or form. I know Coach Moore told us that as much as that was a nice win, it was a bittersweet win, as it was really sloppy in the field for that team. For the Bobcats on Tuesday, so they don't want to repeat that. They want to have a nice, solid win, but in this game, they've already fallen down 3-0 early, now 3-1.
J.R. Nelson, the freshman. Rockets went over to first, and 2 up, 2 down. And the top of the third inning, a smooth start to this third for the Kentucky transfer Jacob Tate, who is a redshirt senior from Louisville, Tennessee, and he faces Cooper Cohn, who doubled and scored his last time up. First pitch is fouled off, 0-1.
I think that caught Cawthron on the mask. So you saw the umpire checking on him. Said he was fine, but I do think they got a piece of his mask.
A little bit of a wake-up call there in the early morning. 0-1 is outside, 1 ball and 1 strike to Cooper Cohn.
That's what you get Tuesday off for, though, Sam. Get ready to get back behind that dish.
1-1 pitch is up and away, 2 balls and 1 strike. 6'6" left-hander Jacob Tate making his 4th start of the season. A rocky start to this game, but he's retired the first 2 in this inning and looking to retire the side. My gracious, that was very close. Ball 3, 3-1.
Just outside, and I mean, we were talking about it last time when Cooper Cohn was up. He was working mainly outside, and Cohn was having a little bit of trouble until he was able to knock that double, as there's a walk there by Jacob Tate on another outside pitch. So I think they got a place they want to stay. Tate's going to stay arm side of that to the right-handed hitter in Cooper Cohn.
Charlie Parcell, the center fielder, steps to the plate for Northern Illinois. 2 down. Top of the third inning, 3-1 lead for the Huskies. Ball 1. And time is called. A quick visit on the mound. Jacob Tate with Jackson Cawthron. Charlie Parcell, who's about to continue his at-bat. Only a freshman, 262 average. His first 6 games this season, 10 hits. Got off to a sizzling start, 455 batting average. But he's only got 1 hit over his last 6 games. And Coach Copeland said he's getting used to the fact that other teams now have film, have access to his approach at the plate. He's only a freshman. 1-0 is a strike. So that can make things difficult for Charlie because now pitchers know exactly what his tendencies are.
Yeah, this is probably the first time, maybe one of the first times in his life that people have had a real in-depth scouting report on him. And you know, when you're hitting leadoff and you're playing as well as he was, they're going to go a little bit more in depth. I mean, he's going to be a big focus coming into these games, and now teams are pitching to where he doesn't want the ball to end up. And like you said, he's got to get used to it. He's got all the talent in the world to be able to get used to it, but lefty on lefty, he's going to have a little bit of trouble, I would assume, for a little bit longer than he does righty on lefty. But especially with Jacob Tate coming in at 6'6", as you mentioned, long, wiry. Ball doesn't come out of his hand for a while, and it's tough to see till real late when you pick it up at the plate.
2-2 is fouled off. So, yeah, for Charlie, it's getting adjusted to facing left-handed pitching, finding what works for him. And he's in a bit of a battle here right now with Jacob Tate. 2 balls and 2 strikes, 2 outs, runner at first. And here comes the pitch. Bounced on the ground towards second. Finney gobbles it up and makes the play to retire the side. So Jacob Tate pitches a scoreless third inning. We go to the bottom of the third right after this. 3-1 lead for Northern Illinois in Game 1 of our doubleheader today from Bob Wrenn Stadium. We'll be back. J.R. Nelson leads off the bottom of the third inning, back with Zach Mothersbaugh and our field reporter, Kylie Osco. I'm Sam Hyman. Thanks for being here. 3-1 lead for Northern Illinois. And the first off-speed pitch from Ty Brockbill is outside. Ball 1 to J.R. Nelson. Zach hitting .368, second best average on the team out of the 9 spot today. And that will climb up. It's a leadoff single for the freshman, J.R. Nelson.
You see why he's hitting that second best average on the team so far. And, you know, if it wasn't for Gideon Antle, he'd be first. I mean, hitting over 500 for Antle is insane. 368's an average that normally leads the team, but hitting in the 9-hole here and setting the top of the lineup up on that single up through the middle of the infield.
J.R. Nelson on Tuesday hit in the 2 spot. Moved back down to the 9-hole, and a great guy to have at the bottom of the order to turn the lineup over. 1 ball and no strikes to Cole Williams, a designated hitter. Grounded out his first time up.
And you can see him there really locked in at first, J.R. Nelson, as he's got 3 stolen bases on 3 attempts so far this season. So that big average that he has, it's not an incredibly high OPS. I mean, it is a very impressive OPS for J.R. Nelson, but compared to the 368 average, the 810 OPS doesn't really skyrocket, so not too many extra base hits. But when you're stealing bases like Nelson is so far this season, a single really can turn into a double really quickly.
Cole Williams, a senior from Charlotte, North Carolina, a.k.a. the Queen City. 229 average in 8 starts coming into today. Cole Williams had a great fall, according to Craig Moore, head coach for the Bobcats. He said he was probably our top offensive player during the fall. Has gotten off to a slow start today, and this season hitting just .229. Favorable count here, 3-1.
You can see how much they trust him, though, still sticking him in that leadoff spot for this game here, first game of conference play.
Hit and run. J.R. Nelson is safe at second, and the hit and run works perfectly. Cole Williams with a productive out. Nelson moves up to second. And here comes Taylor Gill, third baseman, transferred over from Northeast Community College, a JUCO in Nebraska.
Gill, another guy along with Nelson. Coach Moore talked about his athleticism, his ability to bunt, his ability to steal. So another guy who, if he lays one down, has a good chance of getting to first. But if he's able to hit a single, then the Bobcats are going to have a lot of speed on the bases.
Taylor Gill also, he's got that ability to drop a bunt down and make some noise in that capacity. Hasn't done it yet though this season for the Bobcats. Nelson dancing over at second, pickoff attempt, and Nelson dives back safely. Ohio has some speed up and down the lineup. Nelson is one of those guys.
Stolen 8 bases on 10 attempts so far for the Bobcats, and you can tell Nelson definitely has Brock Bill's attention.
2 balls and 1 strike. 3-1 lead for Northern Illinois. MAC opener this weekend, first of 3 games between these two teams. The 2-1 pitch is a corkscrew right behind the second base bag. Funky spin off the bounce, and it's an infield single for Taylor Gill.
It went a little inside out on that one, and as you said, funky spin, and that was tough play for NIU. Is you didn't know which way that was going to jump. It had to hit the ground first before he was able to throw it to first. So Gill's speed that we talked about before, able to beat that one down to first. And now Gideon Antle in a good spot, 1 out, 2 men on.
Antle takes outside, ball 1. Gideon Antle on 1 pitch grounded out his last time up. This is one of the best hitters in the nation right now, hitting .533. 2-0, .533 average. That's 6th best in the nation.
OPS over 1,500, Sam. So it's not just singles that he's hitting. He's getting a lot of extra base hits. Coach Moore told us he's over 50% of his hits go for extra bases, which is an unbelievable number, especially for a guy hitting over 500 on the season.
Coach Moore went on to say he's earned all of this, works tirelessly before and after practicing the cage, and he tattoos this one. Up in the air, you can kiss it goodbye. Gideon Antle, one of the hottest hitters in the country. A 3-run shot, and Ohio takes a 4-3 lead on Gideon's 6th home run of the season.
He's unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable is Gideon Antle. And Coach Moore talked about his pop. You saw it there. That one, nearly a no-doubter. Wow.
A.J. Roush cranks that one into left field, a base hit for the Bobcats. You know, going back to Gideon's home run, he didn't really clobber it like he did the 2 on Tuesday. He just looked like it was another day at the office for him, a casual swing, but he's got that sneaky power.
He does have a lot of pop, Sam, and like you said, maybe not the big daddy hack on that one that got it out to left field, but
yeah.
I mean, it still went out, so.
Gideon Antle always makes contact on the barrel every time. Coach Moore said the biggest takeaway from Gideon Antle's at-bats this season, regardless whether it's a hit or a ground out, a lineup, he is barreling up every single pitch that he swings at, no matter what.
He talked about that in the UIC meeting last week, that he was barreling up a lot of pitches. They just weren't falling, and those are the kind of things that you expect to kind of even themselves out as it goes down. I mean, he's still hitting over 500, so not too much of a struggle for him there in that UIC meeting, but still, I mean, you expect those barreled up balls to go down, and I think the one thing that interests me so much, that one is fouled out of play there, is that he's got so many at-bats, but I mean, he's walked 1 time, struck out 1 time. So this is a guy who's incredibly aggressive early in the count, late in the count. He's not striking out, though, so he's getting, I mean, you talk about barreling all these pitches, and he hits a lot. I mean, he gets his barrel in just about every at-bat. So a guy that only walks one time in all these at-bats but gets on base as many times as he does, it's incredibly impressive, his ability to see the ball in.
Very aggressive. One of the most aggressive players in the nation at the plate. Popped up third base side, and it stays in the territory for a catch. A.J. Roush is doubled off. So a bit of a miscue there from the Bobcats. A.J. Roush, after a single, is doubled off. Cothran's pop out in foul ground stayed in play to make the catch. Aaron Harper does, and that retires the side. 3-run homer for Gideon Antle. 4-3 Bobcats. Top of the fourth inning is next. All right, we welcome you back here to Bob Wren Stadium. Jacob Tate is on the mound for the Bobcats, pitching with the lead, a 4-3 advantage. First pitch is grounded off the end of the stick to Tate. The pitcher fields perfectly and throws out Jake Nelson, one away in the top of the fourth inning. Northern Illinois, top of the order now. Eric Arado, Andre Demetral, and Colin Summerhill, who is one of the best hitters in the Mid-American Conference. And that's where we welcome in our field reporter, Kylie Osco, who had a chance to chat with Colin Summerhill, the catcher, who has 2 walks today, and he has had an outstanding season so far, Kylie.
He truly has. I talked with him a couple days ago, and he started playing baseball when he was 4, and he said he gave all credit to his dad, that his dad set the foundation and the building blocks for him as a player growing up. He also coached him from when he was 5 all the way up until high school. And so he really just had that important role model. But another important role model in his life was his grandfather, who recently passed. And he uses that as his motivation to keep going as a baseball player. As his grandpa just told him throughout his life, you can do anything you put your mind to. And that's how he got to collegiate ball.
Yeah, it's really powerful stuff there. Grandfather and father, both a huge inspiration for Colin Summerhill, who is due up third. Eric Arado at the plate now. Andre Demetral is in the on-deck circle. Anything else you learned, too, from chatting with Colin? He seemed like a really nice guy.
Yeah, honestly, he was great. He was originally committed to OU, but that was during COVID times, and Ohio was bringing back some other catchers, so he decided to go another route. But just knowing that he could have played here is honestly just a cool experience. But he then committed to Triton and then to Troy and then now to NIU, where he is playing amazingly.
Yeah, we'll talk a lot about Colin's numbers and what Coach thinks about him, but Kylie, really appreciate that insight. That was awesome. Again, that's Kylie Osco, our field reporter, Zach Mothersbaugh, and Sam Hyman here with you from Bob Wren Stadium. Colin Summerhill in the on-deck circle right now after Eric Arado walked.
Yeah, Sam. I mean, first Summerhill talking about him almost committing here to Ohio University, and one of those catchers that I would assume he didn't say this.
Look at this. Jacob Tate, ooh, tough break for Bryce Smith. Over at first base, the ball popped out of his mitt, and Arado is safe at second. Arado went on first movement, and he would have been picked off, but a miscue from Smith at first base. But you were saying about Colin Summerhill.
Yeah, if I had to guess, I'd say that catcher that was going to be in front of him was Mason Minzy, who was unbelievable here at Ohio University for a long time. I know it's kind of shocking to hear about a guy at Colin Summerhill's level of play to be a guy who could have been here at Ohio University. We just saw Gideon Antle go yard the last half inning. We could have had Antle and Summerhill here, but Mason Minzy kept him from being a starter. And I don't think, as much as maybe Ohio regrets not having him right now, I don't think the Bobcats regretted not having him before and keeping Mason Minzy for another year.
Yeah, Mason Minzy was a huge part of this program. Quick visit on the mound. All the infielders and catcher Jackson Cawthorn chatting with Jacob Tate. Tate retired the first batter quickly and then just issued his fourth walk of the game. And this is a dangerous part of the lineup for Northern Illinois. Andre Demetral, bunt single his first time up, popped out to the catcher his second time up. Here in the top of the fourth inning, 4-3 lead for the Bobcats. 1-0 is low, and the count is 2 balls and no strikes.
See if they can get something going here, NIU, to answer back, as they're now find themselves down 1 run, as Demetral bounces that one foul to Taylor Gill. But guy on second, they have a good chance to tie it, but Colin Summerhill, the man of the minute right now, is going to be on deck. So unbelievable hitters we've talked about. If they can get ducks on the pond for him, then he'll be in a good position maybe to come back against that Gideon Antle home run.
2-1 pitch is hammered into the NIU dugout. That almost was a serious problem. It went right over the NIU players and coaches in the dugout. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Two-two pitch. Off speed, just misses inside, 3-2. Jacob Tate with a grin on his face. He thought that was very close and was deserving of a perhaps strike 3 call.
Bobcat dugout really wanted that one too. As you could hear the groans after that pitch was called a ball, as that one goes inside, and Arado's able to take third on a wild pitch right there.
Back-to-back walks. And here comes the man we talked about earlier. Kylie Osco had a chance to speak to our field reporter. Kylie spoke to Colin Summerhill, talked about how Colin got into the game of baseball because of his dad, his grandfather who passed away in November, a huge influence and motivating factor in his life as well. Tim Brown, the pitching coach for the Bobcats, makes his way out to the mound. And this is a very challenging situation here for Jacob Tate, going up against one of the best hitters in the MAC, who was intentionally walked, if that's any indication how dangerous he is, intentionally walked his last time up and walked his first time up. So what do you think Jacob Tate should do here facing Colin Summerhill? Pitch around him or go at him?
I said I don't think they're going to pitch around him last time, and then they intentionally walked him. But this time I really don't think they're going to pitch around him. Not intentionally, at least. We'll see Jacob Tate, as we mentioned before, struggled a little bit with walks this season. His first walk was him, I wouldn't say pitching around him, but just trying to paint the corners, and that didn't work out, as that first pitch ends up on a strike on Summerhill. But you don't want to load the bases with 1 out here, and it's not like, it gets easier. The next hitter here, Mason Kelly, but that doesn't mean it gets easy.
Tate just painted the corner, and this time throws down and in. 1 ball and 1 strike. Colin Summerhill tied for 3rd in the nation with 7 home runs, 6th in the country with 21 RBIs. 1st and 3rd, 1 out, the 1-1. And Summerhill charges this one in the air to right field. It stays in play for Paulie Mancino. Arado tags and scores. We are tied at 4 after Colin Summerhill's sacrifice fly RBI to bring in Arado.
That one had a little bit more carry to it than I originally thought. It looked like he just punched that one out to right field, but if I'm not mistaken, that got a little bit closer to the warning track than I originally imagined it would when it came off the bat. So we know Summerhill's got a lot of pop.
Ground ball to short J.R. Nelson. Look at that. The freshman with a terrific play. And that retires a side. However, Northern Illinois ties the game up at 4. Colin Summerhill, sac fly RBI. We go to the bottom of the 4th inning after this from Bob Wren Stadium. Here we go from Bob Wren Stadium, bottom of the 4th inning. We are tied at 4, ladies and gentlemen. Fasten your seatbelts. Game 1 of our doubleheader, 2 9-inning games. Here's Paulie Mancino. The freshman takes ball 1. Back with Zach Mothersbaugh and Kylie Osco, I'm Sam Hyman. Glad you're with us. Overcast skies. Doubleheader today. And Mancino rockets this one into right center field. Double trouble. The freshman charges into second. Hey, hang on a sec. He's getting 3. Mancino slides in safely. Paulie Mancino with a leadoff triple.
That one was a rocket out to right center field, and that was the perfect spot. As soon as that ball rolled to the wall, every part of me thought Mancino was going to go for 3, and that was an unbelievable relay there by NIU. I mean, that was a good throw in from the second baseman, or from maybe the shortstop, to get that ball into third. Perfect spot, but Mancino beat it out.
Paulie Mancino, well rested. He did not play on Tuesday in the 21-19 marathon. Finney pops out to short, and that's a tough break for Alex Finney. Definitely not what he was trying to do.
Yeah, that's exactly what you don't want there by Finney. Got a guy on third, no one else anywhere else. You're really just looking to get him home. Still just 1 out, so it's possible here for Bryce Smith, who, as Coach Moore talked about, is more of an opposite field hitter, which plays to his strength right here, his ability to just shoot one out to the left field side, keep it in the air, and get the sac fly here. But that last at-bat by Finney, just absolutely not what you're looking for.
Paulie Mancino with his first career triple at third base. 1-0 is up and in for a ball to Bryce Smith, first baseman, lined out. Should have had a hit his last time out. I mean, he absolutely struck that line drive right back up the middle, but Ty Brockbill, who's still on the mound for NIU, somehow just put his glove down, and it was in the perfect spot to rob Smith of a hit.
And that was gonna be an RBI, I think, I'm fairly certain. There's a guy on second. I mean, there's no guarantees here on the diamond, but as far as I'm concerned, I would have counted that as an RBI if that one got through. It was struck pretty hard, but going into center field, so that probably saved a run there from Rockville.
3-1 pitch, up and away, ball 4. Bryce Smith draws a 1-out walk. Runners at the corners with 1 out. Tied at 4 for J.R. Nelson. Brad Smith, according to head coach Craig Morey, he's starting to figure out who he is and what he is as a hitter. A guy that's going to be more middle away, won't try to do too much. He clearly tried to go up the middle his last time up. And right there, discipline at the plate to draw his first walk of the season.
Yeah, and this is a team, the Bobcats, that they're not too big fans of
Squeeze
trying to
play
draw
was on, it
walks.
looked like there, Zach. And Mancino slides back safely to third base. Not a full squeeze, but Mancino's got to be careful there.
Yeah, that's the second time that he's been a bit of a bang-bang play there at third in this inning for Mancino. But talking about Bryce Smith drawing that first walk, Coach Moore told us that they've got a Bobcat philosophy from the hitting coach that says you go up there feeling like you're in an 0-1 count as soon as you step into the box, which we've seen that so far. They don't walk too often. They did walk 17 times on Tuesday, but outside of that, they don't walk too often as a team.
J.R. Nelson squares to bunt, trying to push it up the first base line. 2 balls and 1 strike. J.R. Nelson singled his first time up. This is a really, really good young player. Only a freshman, has made some terrific plays at shortstop. Coach Moore said at the beginning of the season that this is his job to lose. He's the starting shortstop as a freshman. This push bunt is up the first base line. Play at the plate and out. Paulie Mancino can't get in there ahead of the tag. Great awareness. Mason Kelly over at first to make the play, and Summerhill applies the tag. And so the push bunt squeeze, if you will, type of situation evaporated. First and second, now 2 down. We're tied at 4 still.
And that really is a tough play to make. I mean, for starters, to make that play at first base from Mason Kelly, but that one looks like it's lined out to the right fielder, and that'll be the end of the inning. But that suicide squeeze right there it's a really tough play. You got to get the perfect bunt down, and that one's a little too hard and ended up throw out at the plate.
We'll head to the top of the 5th inning after this. Good one here to open up the MAC weekend. Bobcats and Huskies tied at 4 at Bob Wren Stadium. Top of the 5th inning underway. Jacob Tate delivers a first pitch fastball inside, ball 1 to Aaron Harper. 0 for 2 today for the NIU third baseman. Tate unleashes one outside, 2 balls and no strikes. So We've got a tight one here. 5th inning, 4 runs on 7 hits, no errors for Ohio. 4 runs, 5 hits, no errors, NIU. Swung on and missed. Strike 1. What do you think of the way this game's going so far, Zach?
Well, I think if you're both teams, as much, I mean, there's 4 runs on the board. One of them for Tate wasn't earned. But I think both coaches are going to be fairly excited to see that their pitchers have lasted 4 innings, over 4 innings, potentially for Jacob Tate here. If he can if he can get Aaron Harper here, maybe he can get out of this inning as he whiffs at that one outside, and that's a strikeout there. But both coaches have had a lot of trouble getting their pitchers through the first, handful of innings. So if they can get that to happen here, I think they'd be pretty excited, especially in a tie game.
Well, after that strikeout, Jacob Tate has lasted 4 1/3 innings. That's his longest of the season. So this currently is Jacob Tate's longest outing of the season. And counting. Here's a ground ball towards third. Backhand, Taylor Gill throws across the diamond in time. 2 up, 2 down. That's a situation. Taylor Gill, he's had some throwing errors this season. Coach Moore didn't shy away from acknowledging that. But a great play to keep the glove down and then make a nice throw.
That's a tough backhand play. I mean, that ball was hit pretty hard, but Taylor Gill able to stay calm, made a great throw across the diamond right there to get what he made it look pretty routine, a play that could have been pretty tough.
J.P. Gauthier retired. He's 0 for 3. Here's Cooper Cone. Doubled and scored in the 2nd inning. Walked in the 3rd. 1 ball and no strikes. Here's the pitch. 2-0. Northern Illinois comes in 3-10 overall. Played a challenging non-conference schedule. 2-0. Swung on and missed. Strike 2. Their non-conference schedule featured teams such as Abilene Christian, a 30-plus win team last year, LSU, a top 5 team in the country, Iowa, Cincinnati. 2-1 popped up. First base side, Bryce Smith gives it a peek, and it's out of play. 2-2. And upcoming games against Northwestern, Purdue. Tough schedule for Coach Copeland, year 1 as the head coach.
Yeah, especially year 1 as a head coach. I mean, going out to LSU to play multiple games midweek, that's an unbelievable team, has been for a long time, and they produce talent at a high level as Jacob Tate gets the strike out there on Cooper Cone.
5 innings for Jacob Tate, his first 1-2-3 frame. Longest outing of the season for Tate in his 4th start in 2024. Bottom of the 5th inning, straight ahead, all tied at 4. MAC opener here from Athens. Taylor Gill leads off, bottom of the 5th inning, all tied at 4. Ohio and Northern Illinois back with Zach Mothersbaugh. I'm Sam Hyman. Our field reporter is Kylie Osco. Thank you for being here. We'll be here for a while. We've got 2 games today as part of a doubleheader. Some serious rainfall expected tomorrow. We don't have the approximate or the estimated total, but it's going to rain.
It's going to rain
tomorrow
a lot. Yeah, so they got that game scheduled for tomorrow. I'm not sure if they even think they're going to be able to get it in, so it might end up getting pushed back to Sunday.
2 balls and 1 strike to Taylor Gill. Infield single his last time up. Ty Brockbill remains out on the mound for Northern Illinois, and this is such a great sign for both of these teams. We talked about it earlier, Zach. Both starting pitchers have been able to navigate through some tricky spots. Full count on Gill here. And in a day that features 2 9-inning games, this is exactly what you want to see out of both your starting pitchers, to at least get through 4. Tate got through 5. Here, Brock Bill's going to have to work to get through 5.
You're absolutely right. I mean, they both have 4 earned runs. I said that one of them wasn't earned for Jacob Tate. It was earned. I forgot that they counted that first hit as a single instead of an error. So it is 4 earned runs for both pitchers, and I think the coaches are going to push them out there a little bit longer, but they both looked fairly solid. Brockbill started out really hot, gave up that 1 3-run home run to Gideon Antle. So other than that, it hasn't been too long or drudging of an outing for Brockbill, and Tate has gotten a lot better as this game has marched along. You said 1 2 3 last inning for him, first time this game. So looks like both pitchers are feeling strong. They're looking strong. 4 runs on the board for each team, but in a tie game, I think the coaches are a little bit more willing to push their guys.
Gideon Antle lines it down the right field line. Great catch, J.P. Gauthier, and he throws to first. Double play. Taylor Gill got a bit ahead of himself there. Thought that ball was going to land. It did not, and quickly 2 down. That's a huge mistake in this game, given that this is a tie game at 4 apiece. You know, those are the moments that coaches really are going to be frustrated with.
Yeah, Taylor Gill was, I think he was looking a little bit more at the plate if that one got down than he was looking at first if that one got caught, as Roush grounds out there to the second baseman. But as you said, huge mistake there. Lets Brockbill have a nice short inning, faces the minimum in this inning. And we're moving on to the top of the 6th.
Unbelievable. Less than 10 pitches for Ty Brockbill in that inning. 1, 2, 3. We go to the top of the 6th right after this. Tied at 4. Game 1 of our doubleheader today. Ohio and Northern Illinois tied at 4. New pitcher for the Bobcats, Tim Knapschafer, takes over for Jacob Tate. Jacob Tate threw 96 pitches in this game. And it's Knapschafer, the former Ohio Northern Polar Bear. All tied at 4. First pitch outside. 1 ball and no strikes. So Tim Napshafer, 6'5", 225 in his first season with the Bobcats.
6'5" and a 6'6" pitcher so far for the Bobcats. They're just putting guys out there that can basically hand it to the catcher from the mound. So far, long, wiry, long release point. So an interesting look here for the Bobcats, and an interesting look at the plate for NIU. Jacob Tate, though, 5 innings pitched, gave up 5 hits, 4 earned runs, did walk 5 again, which has been a bit of a struggle for him, and struck out 4 so far in this game.
Yeah, 96 pitches through 5 innings. Ty Brockbill only 72 pitches through 5 innings, the starter for NIU. So it'd be shocking to see him not come out. Here's a pitch that's hammered into right field. Charlie Parcell has a possible double. He slides in safely. Charlie Parcell 0 for 2 and now 1 for 3 with a double out of the 8th spot for a guy who only has had 1 hit in his last 6 games after 10 in his first 6 games.
And there you go. They put a righty in the game after the lefty Jacob Tate gets yanked, and it's Parcell who comes right in and gets that double for the first hit of the inning, and that's what he was looking for, get through that lefty, get to the righty, and he takes full advantage right there.
First pitch strike to Jake Nelson. And the count is 0-1. Here's a bunt, and Nelson pulls the bat back. 1 ball and 1 strike. Jake Nelson from Altoona, Wisconsin, transfer from Madison College, a senior. Not related to Ohio's J.R. Nelson, the shortstop. Here's a bunt that dribbles foul. 1 ball and 2 strikes. We've seen a lot of bunts from both teams. Some successful, some unsuccessful. In a 4-4 game, not a surprise.
Yeah, now 2 strikes here on Nelson. I would assume that he's going to be swinging away on this one. I'm sure Coach Copeland really wanted to get that bunt down so he could have a guy on third less than 2 outs. But as that ball comes in, now Nelson has to put the ball in play on a full swing.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Jake Nelson RBI double in the 2nd inning. 2-2 from Tim Napshafer is lifted foul right side. And the count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. NIU 3-10 on the season. A program that has struggled for quite some time from a record standpoint. 2-2 is fouled off. NIU has had, it was caught by Jackson Cawthron. So strike 3, tough break for Jake Nelson, 1 down.
Yeah, I just got a piece of that one, and Cawthron able to handle that one behind the dish right there. Good play by the catcher to keep that one, squeeze it tight in his glove.
Eric Arado has reached base all 3 times today, 2 singles and a walk. Tim Napshafer delivers inside, I should say, 1 ball and no strikes. So yeah, Northern Illinois, they've struggled 12 straight losing seasons. They've had a tough time at it. Last winning campaign, 2011, 30-27 that year. But they're under the direction of first-year head coach Ryan Copeland. Great guy, by the way. We spoke to Ryan. He has got a great personality. First D1 head coaching position for Ryan Copeland. Spent the last 4 seasons as the head coach at University of Illinois Springfield, a Division II school. 1-1 pitch is on the outside corner for a strike, 1-2. He absolutely dominated in 4 years at UIS. Their mascot, you know University of Illinois Springfield's mascot?
I most certainly do not.
The Prairie Stars. 1-2 outside. He led the Prairie Stars to a 131-38 record during 4 years as the head coach there for that D2 program. 2022 D2 World Series appearance as well in Cary, North Carolina. 2-2 is low. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, he talked to us about how he never really looked at himself as a rising head coach, a guy who was going to be a head coach at the D1 level, especially this soon. But go 131 and 38 D2.
You're going to get phone calls.
A lot of D1 teams are going to be looking at you,
Yeah.
especially one in the Huskies, who, like you said, 12 straight losing seasons.
Yeah, John Chaney gave Coach Copeland that phone call. Coach said, when I was at UIS, I was never looking for jobs elsewhere. So it meant a lot for someone to reach out. John Chaney in the athletic department for NIU made the call, made the push, and the rest is history for Ryan Copeland. In his first season as the head coach at Northern Illinois, 3-2 is low, ball 4. And now runners at first and second with 1 out for Andre Demetrol. Tough spot here for the Bobcats. All tied at 4. Top of the 6th inning. 2 9-inning games today.
And I would expect right here, Napshafer with Summerhill on deck, a guy you always want to avoid with too many people on base. I think he's going to go after Demetrol right here.
You called it.
Can't walk him. Can't walk him. You just can't.
Yeah, it's got to be a one type of mindset here. Can't overthink it. Here's the 6'5" righty on the mound. Napshafer unleashes. And here's a ground ball poked towards second. Great double play opportunity, and it is cashed in. Alex Finney. 4-3 double play, and the Bobcats escape a little bit of trouble. Tim Napshafer and Ohio head to the bottom of the 6th inning right after this. Deadlocked at 4. What a way to start the MAC opening weekend for these two teams. Stick with us right here from Bob Wren Stadium. Bottom of the 6th inning, here we go from Ohio University. Back with Zach Mothersbaugh, Kylie Osco, I'm Sam Hyman. Jackson Cothran leads things off. The catcher 0 for 2 in this game. And the first pitch is up and in for ball 1. Only the 73rd pitch, Zach, for Ty Brockbill. On the mound, the starter deals. And it's 2-0. He's done a solid job keeping that pitch count down and into the 6th inning.
Well, that's that Bobcat philosophy we talked about before, Sam, with the Bobcats being willing to swing early and often, as much as it keeps the pitcher on their toes, makes them have to execute every single pitch. No get-me-over curveballs in the first pitch of the at-bat or the second pitch of the at-bat. But when you get this kind of aggression, it can help you, but it can also hurt you. As Brockbill, as you said, only mid-70s on pitches so far, as Cawthorn beats that one out to first. A little bit of a bobble from the shortstop, but That's going to happen when you swing at just about every pitch you see that's over the plate.
Andre Demetral double pumped in his mitt and couldn't get the transfer down. That is Cawthron reaching. They're going to give Jackson Cawthron an infield single here. Bunt, Paulie Mancino. He tripled his last time up, and he drops down a sacrifice bunt to move Cawthron over to second. I tell you what, this Ohio team, no matter what happens, they're going to continue to try to execute bunts. Coach Moore said at the beginning of the season, we're not always going to be the team that sits back and relies on that 2-run, 3-run home run. We're going to have to utilize our small ball.
Yeah, and they are, and it's I think it's a little bit tougher to bunt than people normally look at it. It's not a a layup, but if you get good at it, it can be a serious weapon if you're able to get a bunt down whenever you want to and move runners around at will.
Yeah, what do you think the equivalent is? It's not a layup, a sack bunt to basketball is maybe like a 15-foot jumper?
Yeah, I'd say so. Somewhere
Yeah.
in the mid-range, yeah.
A little mid-range game. Good mid-range.
And if you can do it, it's a big weapon.
Yeah. And for Paulie Mancino, I mean, he's got a ton of power and can just sit back and change everything and play a little small ball. Paulie Mancino having himself a day. He's got an infield single, a triple, and a sack bunt for the freshman. Alex Finney at the plate for the Bobcats, trying to take the lead. Ohio and NIU tied at 4. The 1-2. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. Finney is out number 2. So Bryce Smith in a big spot with a runner in scoring position and 2 down.
Smith probably pretty comfortable in this. I talked about before. This is a guy who knows his strengths, knows that he's a guy who's going to really play pepper, spray it out there into the outfield. If you get one down in the green grass deep in the outfield, then I would assume this is going to be a run unless it's hit hard right at one of the corner outfielders.
Bryce Smith, the first baseman, lined out to the pitcher his first time up, walked his second time up. Graduate student, transfer from Marymount University, which is a Division III school in Arlington, Virginia, Northern Virginia. Played 5 seasons there. This is his first season with Ohio. One. Off speed, misses up and away. 2 balls and a strike. Good crowd here today for our doubleheader. Fans have been engaged. This is hammered, dead center field, but playable. Charlie Purcell, and that retires the side. So Ohio threatens, but that's about it. We're tied at 4, heading into the top of the 7th inning. We'll be back. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Bob Wren Stadium, top of the 7th inning. And we are tied at 4. Really, really intense game to open up MAC play, Ohio and Northern Illinois. Colin Summerhill, the catcher at the plate for the Huskies. First pitch is a called strike, 0-1. Our field reporter, Kylie, had a chance to chat with Colin. What else can you share about your conversation with Colin?
Yeah, so he leads the team on batting average, home runs, and RBIs. And what has led him to the early success at the plate this season is that he has to give all of his credits to his teammates and coaches. They trust and believe in him, and he tries to do the right things, not getting too into his own head, and just not getting too high in his highs and not too low in his lows. And honestly, he just contributes this to all of that.
Yeah, it's really awesome. Seems like a really humble guy. Is that what you gathered?
That was what I got. He just really seems family-oriented. He seems to care about the people around him, like coaches and teammates.
And like you talked about earlier, originally committed to Ohio University out of high school, which is crazy to think about. And he just continues to work day in and day out. One of the other things that he talked to you about was what he focused on during the offseason.
Yeah, honestly, all he said was he was just focused on getting stronger and faster. He just wants to be the best athlete possible, and he said just it was grind time, that he knows that when he needs to be in the gym, so he knows what to do on the field.
He's had quite the career. Started at the junior college level, 3 balls and 2 strikes the count, and here's the pitch. And it's popped up down the right field line. Long run for Mancino towards the bullpen, and he can't make the catch. You also asked him about some of his memorable games that he's been a part of. Can you share that?
So he said he can only currently remember 2 games that really stick out in his mind, and the one was his 11th youth state championship. They won 1-0, and in the bottom of the last inning, they were playing defense, and the other team had the bases loaded and nobody out, and they got out of it and won the game. And then in college, it would have to be his first D1 game. He hit a head homer in the 8th inning to win 2-1. He says that, and those 2 moments really define who he is as a player, because he can just really go from, I guess not nothing, but go from that and just make something out of it.
Yeah, it's really, really cool to hit that go-ahead home run and then an 11 youth state championship. That's a good memory.
Yeah.
That's a good memory that no one will forget in the Colin Summerhill household and family. 3-2 is inside, ball 4, and Summerhill reaches on a walk. Appreciate your time, Kylie. Thanks for stopping by. Kylie Osco, our field reporter, roaming around the Bob Wren Stadium here. We are tied at 4. In the top of the 7th inning, Colin Summerhill is on base.
Test for Summerhill. Will he get a single official at-bat in this game? He's been walked 3 times, got a sac fly, currently 0 for 0, even though he's seen the plate 4 times.
Wild stuff. That is a very peculiar look at what exactly he's done. It's hard to really unpack. A walk, an intentional walk, a sac fly RBI, and another walk.
And that's what happens when you're a player at the level Summerhill is you go up there, not too many balls over the heart of the plate, a lot of stuff on the corners, outside the zone, you're going to get walked a lot, and then situationally he knows what he needs to do, able to get the sac fly in his 3rd at-bat.
Mason Kelly at the plate for NIU. 1 ball and 1 strike. Knapp Schaefer fires, and that is an absolute flame on the outside corner. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Mason Kelly, sac fly RBI, and then 2 ground outs. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Knapp Schaefer, the 6'5" righty, transfer from Ohio Northern, the former Polar Bear. Whew. My gracious. Maybe 1 icicle off the plate.
Yeah, he's been around that outside corner. Jacob Tate was around that outside corner when he was up, and now Knapp Schaefer putting the ball in the same spot. As he goes a little bit outside on that one, it's fouled away. 2-2 count still.
Kelly is a senior from Mount Washington, Kentucky. 300 batting average this season. Much better start than what he did last year in 32 starts, just a 200 batting average. Here comes the 2-2 from Knapschafer. Swung on and missed, strike three. A big-time K for Tim Knapschafer. And that is out number one in the top of the seventh inning.
Snuck that one inside there on Mason Kelly, able to get him to swing through it. One out now. Colin Summerhill still on first base, and Knapschafer seeing if he can get through another one with zeros.
Here's Aaron Harper with one out, looking for his first hit in this game. And a slider there right down the middle for a called strike. 0-1 to Aaron Harper, senior from California. Led the Huskies in total hits last year and also had 41 RBIs with a .307 batting average. That runs up and in. This season, Harper hitting just .182.
Yeah, he's having a little bit of a rougher go of it in this game, too, with 2 strikeouts and then a ground out to the second baseman. You said hitting in the 100s below that Mendoza line at 200, slugging just .212 as a steal right there.
Yeah, Colin Summerhill steals second base.
I think that might have been a hit and run. That was a bit of a wonky swing right there for Aaron Harper, sorry. And it looked like he was definitely just trying to get bat on ball. Colin Summerhill still able to take second base, though.
Third stolen base of the season for Colin Summerhill. He's 3 for 3. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Fouled off. Harper spent the 2023 summer. A lot of these guys play baseball what seems all year round. They don't take any days off. 2023 summer, Aaron Harper was in the Northwoods League, which is a really good summer ball league. 1-2 is cranked. That's like a pitching wedge behind the second base bag in the outfield, shallow outfield. And Ohio is 1 out away from getting out of this jam. Nice work there, J.R. Nelson at short to make that play.
Big spot here from Gauthier. Needs to pick up an RBI, really. This is a guy who, as we said, this is his first game playing so far this season. Broke his hamate bone in the preseason. You talked about Coach Copeland, who said that they've had a bit of a struggle in right field so far this season. Nobody's really taken a grip on that spot out in right field, and he was hoping Gauthier was able to do it in this game or right now, maybe this weekend. And this is a big situation, a big chance for him to be able to take that spot. So far, 0 for 3 with 1 strikeout. So he made a great play out in right field so far this game that ended up turning into a double play. So he's got 1 notch so far today and looking for another one right here.
Yeah, I think it might take him a little bit of time to get adjusted again to game action. 1 ball and 1 strike. Tim Knapschafer unleashes and fouled off 1 and 2. Gauthier is in his first season at Northern Illinois. Actually transferred from Illinois State. He only started 7 games in the outfield last year, played 2 seasons there for the Redbirds. And Coach Copeland said he looks like a pro. I mean, he looks the part. 1-2 is just low, and Gauthier went around according to first base umpire Mark Lalo. So Tim Knapschafer has calmed things down. In 2 innings out of the bullpen, he has not allowed a run. We head to the bottom of the 7th inning, all tied at 4. Man, this has been a fun game here at Bob Wren Stadium. We'll see what happens as we head to the home half of the 7th next from Athens. J.R. Nelson leads off the bottom of the 7th inning, and a screaming line drive foul, third base side. 0-1. What a game. All tied at 4. Massive statement for one of these teams to start Mid-American Conference play on the right note. Ty Brockbill is still out there. Zach, this is a guy who's only a freshman and right now has done the job, keeping his pitch count. He's only thrown 85 pitches. Here's his 86th, fouled off 1 and 2. Jacob Tate threw 96 pitches in 5 innings. Ty Brockbill is into the 7th inning and hasn't hit 90 pitches yet.
Well, Brockbill's only walked 3 guys, and he's only struck out 1. So the Bobcats are putting a lot of balls in play. They're putting a lot of balls in play early in at-bats, and those are turning to outs for Brockbill. So that's why his pitch count is so low. I mean, Tate's was a little high through 5 innings, but it's not that Brockbill's got a normal pitch count right now. I mean, this is fairly low, being in the 7th inning and only being in the mid to high 80s so far.
Ty Brockbill, one of the best pitchers on this team, according to Ryan Copeland, as the 1-2 is cranked in the air, right center field. Gauthier is there, and there's 1 down in the bottom of the 7th inning. So, yeah, going back to Ty a little bit, we mentioned this earlier, but Ty was originally committed to University of Illinois Springfield. That's the same school that Ryan Copeland spent the last 4 years at coaching as the head guy. And Ryan told us Ty is probably our best pitcher so far. It's effortless out there for him, probably 80 to 82 miles an hour with his fastball. He had an outstanding career at Shelbyville High School, the Shelbyville Rams in Shelbyville, Illinois. First pitch fastball in the outside corner for a strike, 0-1.
That's translated obviously very well here to the D1 college level.
Cole Williams takes this pitch for a ride into right center field, and it bangs off the wall. Cole Williams strolls into second base with a 1-out double. The Marshall transfer has his first hit of the game, and that's his first extra base hit of the season.
And he got a lot of that one. Can't say all of it, because if he got all of it, it wouldn't still be in the stadium. But he got a lot of it. You could hear it. We're a pretty long way away from right center field, and you could hear that one hit off the wall.
There is activity in the Northern Illinois bullpen, and we're going to get a pitching change. So Ty Brockbill's leash was short, and that's all she wrote for the freshman. Again, the future is bright for Ty Brockbill. He goes 6 1/3 innings. We will step aside and have info on the new pitcher for Northern Illinois as the bottom of the 7th continues next. All tied at 4 right here in Athens. Reagan Clawiter is the new pitcher for Northern Illinois, the 6'1" redshirt senior from Verona, Wisconsin, transfer from Madison College. Day is done for the freshman righty Ty Brockbill. Your thoughts there, Zach, on the switcheroo here for Northern Illinois pitching?
Yeah, it looks like they're going for the lefty-lefty matchup here against Taylor Gill, but there's only one out in the inning, and you're going to have to go lefty-righty against Gideon Antle, the next hitter. I don't know if Clawwitter was always the guy that was going to come in this situation, or if Coach Copeland's going for that lefty-lefty matchup here.
This is a very difficult spot in the lineup to deal with if you're Northern Illinois. Taylor Gill, the third baseman, walked, infield single, and a fly out today. So Ty Brockbill, his line is not complete. He is responsible for Cole Williams at second base, who just doubled. Clawwitter deals, 2-1 is down and away, 3-1. 92 pitches for Ty Brockbill, 6 1/3 innings. He gave up 9 hits and walked 3 batters, only 1 strikeout. Reagan Clawwitter delivers, 3-1 is low, ball 4. So this is exactly what Coach Copeland talked about. Bullpen, beginning of the season, it's been a bit of a struggle, and a leadoff walk for Clawwitter on the mound. He is the first guy typically, or the main guy according to Coach Copeland, that comes out of the bullpen, but he's going to get just that one batter. So
there you go. It
just
was
definitely a matchup thing.
Yeah, it was just a lefty-lefty matchup, and they're going to go likely now to a righty, almost certainly to a righty, to face Gideon Antle and potentially A.J. Roush.
All right, so we'll step aside once again, all tied at 4. The Bobcats trying to crack the scoreboard. It's been deadlocked at 4 since the 4th inning. We're in the bottom of the 7th, and it resumes next here from Bob Wren Stadium. All right, we resume action here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Back with Zach Mothersbaugh. I'm Sam Hyman, Kyle Yasko, our field reporter. Some light rain right now here in Athens, but that's not going to stop this man right here. Gideon Antle, the center fielder. 1 out and the pitch outside. 1 ball and no strikes. How do you pitch to Gideon Antle?
You don't, I think. Got to here with 1 out and guy on first and second. I don't think there's a spot you can put it that Antle can't barrel it up. So you just got to trust your stuff. I don't think you change your approach too much. Against Antle, you do what you're comfortable with as a pitcher, put it in your spots, and execute your pitches, and hope he doesn't barrel it up, really, I think is going to be the approach here for Linkletter.
.533 batting average coming into today for Gideon Antle. Ryan Linkletter, the righty, unloads, popped up, first base side in foul ground, playable for Mason Kelly. Checkmate. Somebody found a way. Gideon is retired. And here comes A.J. Roush. That's a huge out now with runners at first and second. A.J. Roush at the plate. 2 down.
Antle's not happy walking back into the dugout. He knows he had a great opportunity right there to put some runs on the board, or at least set A.J. Roush up in a great position to put runs on the board, but a weak pop out to foul territory to the first baseman right there, and now 2 outs. Not out of the woods yet is Linkletter, though. A.J. Roush not a slouch himself.
A.J. Roush walked, singled, grounded out in this game. All tied at 4. Cole Williams at second. Taylor Gill at first. Here's the 1-0. A.J. rolls the wrists around. Strike. 1-1. Well, Ryan Linkletter, the Iowa Central Community College transfer, it's been a tough year so far. Small sample size. 7 1/3 innings, but he's given up 11 earned runs. 1-1. Downstairs, 2-1.
Yeah, good for a 13.5 ERA. Only 3 strikeouts so far on the season to go along with his 3 walks. But, none of that matters recently. None of that history matters for him right here, right now. He got Gideon Antle out. He's in the heart of the lineup here for the Bobcats, looking at A.J. Roush now a 3-1 count.
A.J. Roush has been swinging a hot bat early this season. .316 batting average coming into today. 3-1, and A.J. takes a breaking ball, full count. The Bobcats have been knocking on the door, but the door's been locked. Who has the key? Will it be A.J. Roush? 3-2 pitch. And this one's cranked way foul. Left field line. Man, that looked like my driver on the first tee.
Yeah, that ball got real small real fast as it shot out there to left field. I'm thinking maybe A.J. Roush was ready for that curveball, for that off-speed pitch. Got inside on it, yanked it just a little early, as that one's a fastball and he punches it foul to the other side.
A.J. Roush, former Olentangy Liberty High School standout, coached by Ty Brenning. Last year, led the team in runs scored. 3-2 is low, ball 4, and the bases are loaded for Jackson Cawthron. A dangerous line to walk. Ryan Linkletter in some trouble. 2 down, bases loaded. Jackson Cawthron looking for his second hit of the game. Here we go. A junior from Murfreesboro, Tennessee, played his first 2 seasons at Motlow State, a JUCO. .333 batting average this season for Cawthron, and he swings through the first pitch, strike 1.
There's that aggression there from Cawthron. First pitch he sees, puts a nice hard swing on it, can't make contact, but you know he's ready, looking for a hit here. Doesn't want to walk or anything.
1 ball and 1 strike to count to Jackson Cawthron. First season at Ohio. Cole Williams at third base, Taylor Gill at second, A.J. Roush at first, and this pitch is crushed. High in the air, but playable. Just too much trajectory up in the air there for Jackson Cawthron. He barreled it up, but not deep enough.
Looked like he was on time, Sam. Maybe just a touch under it, but based on the swing, based on that ball location, I thought he was perfectly on time. I thought he Thought he saw that pitch really well, just maybe a tick under it.
So the Bobcats strand the bases loaded. We go to the top of the 8th inning. This ice cube will not break. We are tied at 4 here in Athens. Top of the 8th inning. What a game this has been to open up MAC play alongside Zach Mothersbaugh and our field reporter Kylie Osko. I'm Sam Hyman. We've been tied at 4 apiece since the 4th inning. And Tim Knapschafer remains on the mound for Ohio, faces Cooper Cone, ball 1. Both teams have tried different strategies to push a run across. We've seen sack bunts, hit and runs. Nothing has worked.
And you know what? Both teams feels like have just barely escaped. It was just a couple innings ago for the NIU Huskies where Colin Summerhill led off the 7th inning, or just last inning, where Summerhill led off. And in the previous inning, that 6th inning, there was a guy on first and second. There was one out. Demetrov was up, and they ended up getting a double play. The Bobcats did. It looked like they were going to put themselves in a really tough position with an unbelievable hitter in Summerhill coming up with ducks on the pond, with guys on base, but able to turn that double play and get out of it. And then just last inning, Gideon Ansel comes up, one out, guy on first and second, and has a can of corn pop fly to the first baseman, and the Huskies are able to escape. So it's been close. They've, like you said, they've used a lot of strategies, but both teams have gotten pretty close to scoring, just can't plate that run.
Full count, 3-2. The Bobcats are 4-6 on the season. Northern Illinois 3-10. Ohio started out the year 2-0 with victories over Lipscomb in both. 3-2 is waved at and missed, strike 3. Tim Knapschafer has ventured down a very solid and paved road thus far. Nothing bumpy or shaky really for Knapschafer other than that 6th inning.
Yeah, he's been in a good spot. I mean, like you said, hasn't faced too much trouble. He's given up 1 hit so far, 2 walks. He's walked 4. Nobody's really barreling him up that much. Had a couple guys on base in that 6th inning, as we talked about. But other than that, it's been pretty clean.
Knapschafer was a starter for Ohio Northern last year, the former Polar Bear. The 0-1 down and in to Charlie Parcell, who doubled his last time up. Knapschafer had a 4.63 ERA last year for Ohio Northern before transferring to Ohio. 1-1. And this is bounced right underneath Knapschafer's mitt. Nelson is there, chucks it to first in time. J.R. Nelson, sure-handed at shortstop.
That was a great play. As soon as it got past Knapschafer, I thought that was going into center field, but great play there by Nelson at shortstop, able to scoop that one up. Looked like it was on the second base side of the infield right there, but shortstop able to pick that one up.
2 outs, Jake Nelson, no relation to J.R. at the plate for NIU. Ball 1. I asked Craig Moore about J.R. Nelson, Ohio's shortstop, and Coach Moore said he has earned the opportunity to start. He does everything you want an infielder to do. He can change his arm slot on certain plays, make plays in the hole when you think that a typical shortstop wouldn't be able to make. I mean, we've seen him change his arm slot. We've seen him move from left to right. His agility is off the charts, and he's only a freshman.
And that's almost a necessity, really, at shortstop at this kind of level, to be able to change your arm slot, to throw sidearm, to throw on the run, and make accurate throws all the time. And, I mean, Nelson's done an unbelievable job so far in this game making that happen. And these are plays that, I mean, he makes them look routine, and they're not routine.
Jake Nelson at the plate, swings through and misses, strike two. Tim Knapschafer locked in. Took over for Jacob Tate in the 6th inning. And is 1 strike away from a 1-2-3 frame. 2-2 buzzes up and in, off speed, 3 balls and 2 strikes. 53, or the 53rd pitch is coming up here for Tim Knapschafer out of the bullpen. The payoff, and it hits Jake Nelson on the back.
You do not love getting hit in a 3-ball count right there. Hurts a little bit worse when there are 3 balls on you, and if it didn't hit you, it would have been a walk anyways.
So that'll turn the lineup over for Eric Arado, the speedster, hitting .320 this season in 13 starts. One of the most disciplined hitters in the Mid-American Conference. Last year set an NIU single-season record with 51 walks in 1 season. Ball 1.
Got 2 of them so far today.
Yeah.
Just 2. He's 2 for 2. He's got the single in the 1st and 2nd, then walked in the 4th and 6th. So he's keeping that pattern up.
A tough out. 1-0. And Arado pops it up down the 3rd baseline, drifting into foul ground. A.J. Roush runs out of room. 1 ball and 1 strike.
If you're the Bobcats, you definitely, with 2 outs going up against Jake Nelson, a guy that Knapschafer struck out the last time he faced him, got to be upset that you have to go back to the top of the order, get Arado, get Demetrol, potentially even get all the way to Summerhill. You wanted to take care of this inning with the bottom of the lineup and Jake Nelson hitting in the 9-hole.
2 down, top of the 8th inning. Jake Nelson at first, and Knapschafer pickoff attempt. We've got 1 more game coming up today as part of our doubleheader. Huge mental boost for one of these teams to start off MAC play with this game tied at 4. Who will it be? 2 balls and 1 strike.
I wonder how you got to be feeling for both teams getting ready for another game after such an intense game so far. 4-4. I mean, this should be close to the very end. It's gonna be interesting to see how they flip their mindset to get ready for the next game, win or lose.
2-1 pitch misses outside. 3 balls and 1 strike. Knapschafer delivers on the outside corner, strike 2. Tim Knapschafer with a chance to complete 3 scoreless innings. 1 more pitch left to do so. The payoff. Foul tipped in and out of Cawthorn's mitt. Ohio thought for a split second we were headed to the bottom of the 8th inning.
Just not able to squeeze it there for Cawthorn behind the dish. That's a tough play, obviously, on those foul tips that just go right back into your mitt. Doesn't hit your glove where you expect it to hit your glove. Got to be able to react and squeeze it on time. Knapschafer still in a 3-2 count, still has a chance to get out of this one.
Foul back to the net. Count remains 3-2. Heck of an at-bat here from Eric Arado. You wouldn't expect anything else with how disciplined he is. 51 walks last season. And he is so fast as well if he gets on the base paths. 3-2, fouled off. What an AB. Eric Arado had the chance to play in the Cape Cod Baseball League this summer, or last summer, I should say, in 2023 with the Harwich Mariners, a brief stint. That's a league that features some of the best college players in the nation. And Arado had a brief stint there up in Harwich. 3-2 is up and away, ball 4. And Eric Arado has not been retired yet today. He's reached base all 5 times. And Tim Brown makes his way to the mound for the Bobcats, Ohio's pitching coach.
And that'll go down as a walk. It'll look like a free pass, but Arado really earned that one at the plate. Fouled a couple pitches off. One just popped out of the glove of Cawthron. So a great battle at the plate. Put a lot of pitches on Knapschafer. And now there's 2 men on base here for Demetral.
Yeah, Andre Demetral, who had a bunt single in the first inning and then walked in the 4th, has been retired the other 2 times. Tim Brown trying to calm down Tim Knapschafer. Coach Brown in his 3rd season as the pitching coach, with multiple coaching stops including Eastern Illinois, USC Upstate, Lincoln Memorial, George Washington, Coppin State, Siena College. The list goes on and on. That's like my grocery list when I go to Kroger here.
Yeah, I mean he's seen a lot of different players, a lot of different games. Knows the situation right here. Knows that Knapschafer needed to be settled down. That, I mean, you were 2 batters ago, 3 batters ago before you hit Jake Nelson. You were in a spot where maybe Knapschafer was looking toward the dugout, getting ready to get out. There were 2 strikes on Nelson too. Full count when he hit him. So
NIU offense having a quick discussion. This is the part of the order that the Huskies want up in this type of situation. Demetral, Summerhill, Mason Kelly, Andre Demetral, the senior from Rochester, Minnesota, outside of Minneapolis.
hitting .278, Demetral is just the 1 extra base hit. So far this season, a double.
He started all 13 games coming into today. Make it 14. First and second with 2 outs. And that's a fastball on the inside corner. Strike 1 on Demetral, the senior who made 49 starts last year and led the team with 5 triples, second on the team with 37 walks. So another tough out. Popped up, though. Bryce Smith makes the catch, and Tim Knapschafer out of the bullpen. 3 scoreless innings. We are still tied at 4, heading to the bottom of the 8th inning. Paulie Mancino, Alex Finney, Bryce Smith, 6, 7, 8 hitters due up for the Bobcats in the MAC opener. That has not disappointed one bit. We'll be back in a moment from Athens. Paulie Mancino leads off here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Ball 1. Back with Zach Mothersbaugh. I'm Sam Hyman, Kylie Osco, our field reporter. What a game this has been. 4 runs on 9 hits, 1 error for the Bobcats, facing Ryan Linkletter. And that is in there for a called strike. 1-1. Paulie Mancino has been busy. A sac bunt, a triple, an infield single for the freshman.
Yeah, really good day so far. That big triple earlier, sac bunt in his last at-bat that didn't turn out to be a run, but he was able to get it down and get the guy to second.
Tim Knapschafer, Ohio's pitcher out of the bullpen, just went a scoreless 3 innings as Mancino launches it into right field. J.P. Gauthier is there, 1 up and 1 down. These two teams, looking at the Mid-American Conference as a whole, the Bobcats projected 5th in the MAC preseason poll. Kent State 1, Ball State, the defending champs, 2. And Northern Illinois picked 10th after the Huskies went just 10-43 overall last season, 5-14 in the MAC as Alex Finney takes a strike. So two teams that, early in the season, it's a big series to build confidence. You want to flush out what happened last year. Both of these teams did not make the MAC tournament. So new life, new energy. And this has been a competitive game. The complete opposite of what we saw from Tuesday with a 21-19 final score.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the Bobcats are able to take a couple more deep breaths in this one, as that one on Tuesday was really all over the place. NIU's they've had a couple of high-scoring games. Their pitchers ERA over 10 so far on this season. The Bobcats are not quite in the same boat as far as the ERA being that high, but it's the same boat in terms of a lot of high-scoring games, including that one you talked about on Tuesday.
2 balls and 1 strike. Ryan Linkletter deals, and it's low. Ball 3, 3-1. Looking at some of the teams in the MAC so far, Ball State has the most wins, 9-4 record. Western Michigan 7-6. Miami 5-6. Ohio 4-6. 3-1. And this is cranked into left field. Alex Finney puts the afterburners on, and it's a 1-out single for Finney here in the bottom of the 8th inning.
Bobcats kind of in the same position that NIU was in last inning. Guy on first now, kind of close to the bottom of their lineup. Linkletter definitely got to be hoping that he doesn't get back to the top with Cole Williams, who doubled in his last at-bat. See if he can handle Bryce Smith and J.R. Nelson. But if you're the Bobcats, you want to flip this order around this inning.
Bryce Smith has been swinging a hot bat, 4 for 9 in his last 2 games. He's looking for his first hit today, 0 for 2 with a walk. Pickoff attempt. Ohio has out-hit Northern Illinois today, 10-6. That's an off-speed low, 2 balls and no strikes. Or pardon me, 1 ball and no strikes. Bryce Smith hitting .222 this season. And this is his 5th start. And that one's right down the middle for a strike, 1-1.
Smith, a guy, as we mentioned, that's going to look to go left field, left center field. So we'll see if he's able to get a pitch that he likes on the outside part of the plate and push it to a spot he likes to hit it.
And that kicks away from the catcher, Summerhill. Alex Finney rounds second base. And the Bobcats are in business with a runner in scoring position, only 1 out off the wild pitch.
Pretty aggressive turn there from Finney around second base. There was no one holding him on. No one near the base for the Huskies, so maybe that was why he took such an aggressive turn. But I think he was thinking about potentially trying to get to third. Now, obviously, that kicked away down that third baseline side. So didn't make it too terribly possible. But if there was a bobble over there by the catcher or something went wrong, I think Finney was going to try and take third.
2-1 pitch, dribbled towards first. Mason Kelly will step on the cushion. Productive out. Finney moves to third. 2 down. And here comes J.R. Nelson, the freshman from Vernon Hills, Illinois, hitting .368 coming into today. Second best average on the team. And this is a big opportunity. And we'll get a visit on the mound. Ryan Copeland's team has to be careful. Finney over at third. And this is a J.R. Nelson who is very dangerous in the number 9 spot.
Yeah, he singled and scored in the third inning. 1 for 3 so far in this game, but as you said, hitting .368 coming into this matchup, an .810 OPS, as we talked about before. This is a guy who is not a normal 9 hitter. He's able to set the table really well for the guys at the top of the order. He runs really well. He's very dangerous on the base paths. So this is a guy more than normal you want to keep off the base paths.
J.R. Nelson. Here we go. Linkletter fires, and Nelson takes a strike, a fastball on the top of the zone, 0-1. The last time anybody scored in this game, 4th inning. NIU trailed 4-3 and scored in the top of the 4th. No runs since. 0-1, bounces, good block, Colin Summerhill. We've talked a lot about his strong abilities in the batter's box. That was a run-saving block there behind the dish.
He's also got a pickoff in this game over at first base, so all around just a dynamic player. And going back to what you're talking about with the last run being scored in the 4th inning, I mean, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th inning all had runs scored in them and none since. So this game's really flipped entirely on its head so far.
1 ball and 2 strikes after the foul ball. Ohio has left quite a number of players on base. They left the bases loaded back in the 7th, so the last half inning. 1-2 the count. Linkletter unleashes, and Nelson taps it right back to Linkletter, gobbles it up, and flips it to first. Inning over. What a clutch play and moment for Ryan Linkletter, who has given up 11 earned runs in 7 1/3 innings coming into today, and he just posted his 2nd scoreless frame. We're tied at 4 heading into the top of the 9th inning from Bob Wren Stadium. Don't go anywhere. Top of the 9th inning, all tied at 4. Tim Knapschafer remains out on the mound for his 4th inning of work, and he faces Colin Summerhill, the catcher. 3 walks, 1 sack fly RBI. And this is a guy who is lethal at the plate. Hasn't been able to show it. This time he does. Rips it into right center field, but it hangs up for the right fielder. Paulie Mancino, 1 pitch, 1 out. That's the first time we've seen Summerhill barrel up a baseball, but it's right at Mancino, 1 up, 1 down.
He's got an official at bat. You can tell he was here now.
Yeah.
If you look at the box score, not a 0-for-0 day here for Summerhill. He's got that line out now, and that was hit really hard. But, you know, that's just baseball. Hard hit ball out to right center field, and it's caught.
Next batter, Mason Kelly, first baseman. 0 for 3 with a sac fly and an RBI. All tied at 4, and Tim Knapschafer, the Ohio Northern transfer, has been rock solid out of the bullpen. 2 balls and no strikes to Mason Kelly.
Just 1 hit through 3 1/3. We talked about Jacob Tate and how excited Coach Moore would be with Jacob Tate's out and being able to go 5 innings. And here comes Knapschafer to follow him up through 3 1/3, only giving up 1 hit. Just about 71 pitches now. So Bobcat pitching really in a good spot. There's a chance. They only have to use 2 pitchers in this game.
And we've got another game coming up today, so that's massive as Knapschafer flips one in there for a strike. 3-1. Last time out for Tim Knapschafer, he did go 5 innings and only allowed 1 earned run. 3 strikeouts and 1 walk, so starting to show some consistency. Kelly sends this one for a ride. In the air to left field. That ball is gone. The Huskies break the 4-4 tie in the 9th with a solo blast from Mason Kelly, his 3rd home run of the season. And it's 5-4 NIU.
That one didn't get too much air, Sam. That one was a little bit more of a line shot out of here, Kelly. Absolute blast, and that's a huge home run in the 9th inning. Just the 2nd hit Knapschafer has allowed, but one of the biggest hits so far this game.
Tim Knapschafer had been so dialed here today and makes 1 mistake. We've got a pinch hitter, number 3, Parker Shoup, senior, Kirkwood Community College transfer, who will bat in place of Aaron Harper.
Shoup, 0.67 batting average so far this season. Hasn't gone to the plate too many times. So he has struck out 4 times. He's walked twice.
Aaron Harper had a tough day, 0 for 4, so why not try somebody else here in the 9th with 1 out. And Shoup skies it down the left field line. A.J. Roush accelerates in foul ground, and he overran it. A.J. Roush had enough room, but just got too far out in front of that and then had to reach back and realize he was not in position.
Yeah, he definitely had a beat on it. Obviously, definitely made it there in time, but a ball that's hit so far down the line like that, it's so far away from you, you don't think about the fact that you might get there before it comes down. You might get there a little early and have to wait. So he was just on his horse the entire way, and like you said, realized it a little late, maybe blown a little bit back inside to the stadium, and he just overruns it a little bit.
0-2 the count. Knapschafer deals, and that one gets away from him.
Not really a competitive pitch there, 0-2. He'll probably looking to throw a ball on that one, keep something outside the zone, but at least make it competitive. Put Shoup in a spot where he has to think about swinging.
This one drilled back to the net. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Bobcats trail 5-4 here in the top of the 9th inning. They are out hitting the Huskies 10-7, but a clutch solo homer for Mason Kelly to give the Huskies the lead as Shoup fouls this one off. Well, Ohio in the bottom of the 9th inning will have the top of the order. Gideon Antle is guaranteed an AB in the bottom of the 9th. Cole Williams, Taylor Gill, Gideon Antle, 1, 2, 3 due up for Ohio.
Yeah, we'll see who Northern Illinois brings in to deal with those those three incredible hitters for Ohio, potentially ending with Gideon Antle. So see if they have somebody that they really trust to go in. We mentioned a bit of a bullpen struggle so far this season here for NIU. There's somebody they really trust to take care of that 9th inning.
2-2 is waved at and missed. Strike 3. Shoop is retired. 2 down. Yeah, NIU, they haven't played very many close games this season. They've played 2 close games, though, recently. Against Cincinnati, lost 6-5, and then won 6-4. So we'll see, again, who they decide to bring out here down the stretch. That pitch misses inside to J.P. Gauthier.
2 outs now in this inning with nobody on, but NIU definitely looking to be in a spot where they can extend this lead. Again, tough bullpen. We don't want to go into the bottom of the 9th with only a 1-run lead. So they're going to look to get a couple of guys around. It's going to be tough with 2 outs here in this inning. Knapshafer's still on the mound, but that's the idea right now.
J.P. Gauthier, his season debut, coming off an injury in the preseason. 0 for 4. 2-1. And Gauthier hits a skyscraper on the infield. Alex Finney makes the grab, and that retires the side. So the Bobcats will need some magic down the stretch. Down 5-4 after a solo homer for Mason Kelly. Ohio will send Cole Williams, Taylor Gill, and Gideon Antle to the plate in the bottom of the 9th inning. So stick around. We will see you on the other side from Athens. Bottom of the 9th inning, here we go. Ohio trails 5-4. Top of the order for the Bobcats. Cole Williams, Taylor Gill, and Gideon Antle, who has a team-leading 6 home runs on the season. But first, Ohio needs base runners. Cole Williams doubled his last time up, takes outside ball 1. NIU has only 1 save this season through 13 games. DJ Hess got the save. Ryan Linkletter, Coach Copeland sticking with Linkletter, and Williams hits this in the air to shallow center field. Charlie Purcell is there, 1 up, 1 down for the Bobcats.
Very important out there for the Huskies, getting the first guy of the inning out. You didn't want the leadoff hitter to get on, especially with the great hitters they have coming up with Gill and Gideon Antle, who we've talked about ad nauseum.
Ryan Linkletter has thrown 2 scoreless innings so far out of the pen, and he fires in a strike at the top of the zone. 0-1 to Taylor Gill. Bobcats and Huskies were tied at 4 from the bottom of the 4th all the way to the 9th until Mason Kelly hit a solo home run to break the tie. 0-1 is up and away. 1 ball and 1 strike to Taylor Gill.
Can't talk enough about how impressive it was for Mason Kelly to be able to smoke one over the left field wall in the top of the 9th inning, especially in a game, like you mentioned, that's been zeros for a long time.
The 1-1, and Gill fouls it back, 1-2. And also, it's been impressive to watch Ryan Linkletter, who has really responded after a tough start to the season. 7 1/3 innings out of the bullpen coming into today and 11 earned runs. Today, 2 innings of shutout baseball so far as the 1-2 is fouled to the left of home plate.
He's just 1 hit, 1 walk so far for Linkletter. I mean, he's maybe really turned it around so far in this game from where he's been this season. Like you mentioned, 11 runs given up in a short time.
One ball and 2 strikes with 1 out. The pitch. And Gill slaps it back. We'll do it again. Well, Taylor Gill's been a tough out. He's walked twice, infield single.
I wonder what the mindset is for Gill right now. That one looked like it was a little bit high and off the plate. Might be in chase mode, so we'll see if Linkletter tries to put one way out of the zone.
Backdoor curve misses. Wow, very close. Ball 2 as the rain starts to come down a little bit harder now.
Yeah, that was an interesting pitch. Like I said, I thought he'd try and get Gill to chase, but he tries to instead freeze him.
2-2. Foul again, left side out of play. And now you wonder, here Linkletter has to wipe off his hand a little bit because it is raining harder. Got to be careful.
Yeah, potentially he couldn't get as much spin on that curveball as he wanted to. The attempt at a backdoor.
2-2, jolted down the right field line. This ball is just foul.
That hurts.
Whew.
A lot for the Bobcats. That one, perfect piece of hitting, did exactly what he wanted to for Taylor Gill, but it just floats into foul territory.
Craig Moore just took off his helmet, scratching his head, third base coach, head coach for the Bobcats. Man, a game of inches. 2 balls and 2 strikes. NIU trying to hang on and pick up win number 1 in MAC play. 1 out, the 2-2, and Gill fouls it off. What an at-bat here for Taylor Gill.
Yeah, he hasn't missed anything that's been in the strike zone. A lot of fouls. You don't normally see people, it hurts when you have that kind of big hit down the line that just goes foul. So you got to wipe that off, lock back in. He fouls the next pitch off.
Gill, sharply struck again, hooks foul. Taylor Gill, according to Coach Moore, he's talked a lot about his speed, ability to bunt. This is a huge AB where Taylor's just battled pitch after pitch. 2 balls and 2 strikes with 1 out in the bottom of the 9th inning. Ohio down by a run. 2-2 is popped up again, drifting foul, and it lands on a mini hill over there where some fans will get a chance to grab it, and a dog heading after after the ball.
I thought that was a great pitch there by Linkletter. He'd gone inside a couple of times. Gill fouled it down the right field line, got a good piece of 2 foul balls, then he goes outside.
2-2 upstairs, 3-2 on Taylor Gill.
Had a pitch to play with right there with just 2 balls. He'd thrown a lot of strikes in the zone. That one a little less competitive than you wanted it to be, but without 3 balls in the count, he had the ability to lose one.
Payoff pitch, and Gill down the right field line again, foul. He continues to flirt with that right field line.
I'm thinking up and away now, Sam. I think you've put it inside. You put it a little bit more down the middle a couple of times. You fouled one that was low and away. I'm thinking high and outside.
We'll see. The payoff pitch on the horizon with 1 out. And it's down and in, ball 4. Taylor Gill walks for the 3rd time today. And oh, what a moment. The table is set. The mantle is set for Gideon Antle. A
That
runner
was
on.
quite an at-bat there from Taylor Gill. Put one right down the right field line a couple of times, threatened a double multiple times, and takes a walk. I mean, that's all you can ask for from Coach Moore right there.
First pitch, and Gideon swings sharply back towards the net and over the press box, strike one. Gideon Antle, one of the best hitters in the country. .533 batting average coming in. He already has a home run in this game. He represents the winning run. The tying run is at first here in the bottom of the ninth inning with one out. The pitch, and Antle grounds it third base side. Harper throws to second for one, and no double play. And
yeah, based on that first swing, I think he was getting ready for game two potentially. Big hack at that first off-speed pitch. Maybe it was a get-me-over, and he fouled it out behind him, so slowed it down a little bit more, got him to roll over it. Nearly a double play, but Antle a little too fast. A.J. Roush, again, not out of the woods yet. You get through Gideon Antle, and you hope, you take a big sigh of relief, but A.J. Roush, very talented hitter in his own right.
Takes a strike, 0-1, and that was actually Christian Seegers who fielded that ball at third base. He came on as a defensive replacement, so Seegers at third. Ohio down to its final out here in the bottom of the ninth inning, down by a run. A.J. Roush represents the tying run, and Gideon Antle at first, or A.J. Roush represents the winning run. Gideon Antle at first represents the tying run.
He's attempted a steal. Antle has so far this season, was unsuccessful. Pickoff attempt there. He might be thinking about trying to swipe second, get into scoring position to allow A.J. Roush to tie it with a single.
That just missed. A slider from Ryan Linkletter, who, again, we can't stress enough, he struggled this season. 7 1/3 innings, 11 earned runs. He has not allowed a run here today through 2+. 1-1 off the end of the bat, shallow center field, long run. Purcell still running, and he drops it. Ball hits the ground. Gideon Antle rounds third. Play at the plate late. We're tied. Antle scores 5 apiece in the bottom of the ninth inning.
That is a great job by Gideon Antle. 2 outs. You can run on sound, on contact. That ball, pretty lazy fly ball in a shallow center field, goes off the glove of the freshman Charlie Parcell, hits the ground, and Antle goes from first to home. Great speed from Antle, able to take advantage of it, and now we're not done yet. It's a tie game. There's a man in scoring position here for Cawthron.
A.J. Roush with plenty of speed, 2 down. The winning run at second base for the Bobcats, Jackson Cawthron, who's hitting .333 this season. First year at Ohio, transfer from Motlow State. 1-0 is in there for a strike, so that is an error on the center fielder, Charlie Purcell. You'd have to imagine. We did see an error go up on the scoreboard. We'll get the official word in a moment. 1-1. Ground ball to second. Nelson is there, and the inning is over. How fitting, folks. We're going to extras here at Bob Wren Stadium. All tied at 5. The rain started to fall, and maybe that was a factor with Charlie Purcell trying to make that catch in center field.
Purcell due up second in the next inning, too. See if he can make up for that.
All right, we go to the top of the 10th inning after this from Bob Wren Stadium. Top of the 10th inning. Settle back in your chair at home, sofa. This is going to be an interesting finish here. Top of the 10th, all tied at 5. We saw some fireworks, Zach, in the top and the bottom half of the 9th inning. Tim Knapschafer throws a first pitch fastball for a strike, 0-1. Top of the 9th, Mason Kelly, solo homer, and then the Bobcats score on a fielding error in center field, Charlie Parcell.
Yeah, last time we saw Knapschafer in the last inning gave up that nearly game-winning home run in the 9th inning. So he's got to bounce back from that. Got to wipe that out of his memory. Still a tie game. No damage done from Knapschafer, so got to lock back in.
Charlie Parcell, so sure-handed over in center field, but you wonder maybe with the conditions, the rain started to fall a little bit harder in that 9th inning. Did that play a factor? And Cooper Cone strikes this one into center field, a leadoff single for Cooper, who's thinking two. Antle bobbled the ball, and Cooper Cone is upstanding at second base here in the top of the 10th inning. Every single base is huge, and the Huskies have a runner in scoring position here in the top of the 10th.
And if you're Charlie Purcell, maybe you think that you gave up a run in the last inning. Perfect time now for you to take that run back. Man in scoring position. Purcell's up. Just 1 for 4 so far in this game, but a chance to wipe all that away.
We've got a pinch runner for Northern Illinois, C.J. Sapicki. The Missouri transfer will pinch run. Charlie Parcell can bounce back here after his fielding error in the bottom of the 9th inning. Gideon Antle, by the way, just got handed a fielding error as well, which is why there's a runner at second base as Parcell bunts this foul, 0-1.
Yeah, Cone will get credit for the single, but the error advancing him to second right there in scoring position.
First game of conference play for both teams hasn't disappointed one bit. 0-1 pitch, Parcell this time drops it down. Knapschafer throws to first, and the sacrifice works. So Charlie Parcell does the job, and Cooper Cone is 90 feet away with Jake Nelson standing in for the Huskies.
Just got to lift one. Get a ball into the air, into the outfield. Get that run home. Take the lead going into the bottom of the 10th inning and see if you can finish it off this time.
Jake Nelson drove in just his second run of the season back in the 2nd inning. He takes a first pitch fastball on the outside, 1-0.
Bobcat infield, of course, playing really shallow, trying to get that out at home. If anything, sit on the ground.
Knapschafer unloads, and the 1-0 is swung on and missed for strike one. 5 apiece here in the top of the 10th inning. And this is just the beginning. We've got another game after this one today. 1-1 is fouled off to the right side. 1-2.
Knapschafer looking to get a punch out here. Of course, with the 2-strike count so far, but it's going to be incredibly important if he can punch Nelson out on this at-bat.
Nelson has struck out once today. This one is grounded sharply through the right side. A base hit for Jake Nelson, who comes up clutch. Sapicki scores, and NIU grabs the lead back, 6-5 in the top of the 10th.
And there you go. That's exactly what he was looking for. Go to the opposite field, maybe try and lift one into the opposite field, but he gets a lot of that one, and the Bobcats might be looking toward the pen, and they are.
Well, we've got a pitching change, a much faster-paced walk there from pitching coach Tim Brown. So, new pitcher for the Bobcats, Tim Knapschafer, navigated and worked his way through a lot of trouble, but his day is done. 6-5 lead for the Huskies with 1 out in the top of the 10th. The action resumes right after this here from Bob Brent Stadium. Top of the order for the Huskies, Eric Arado, who has not been retired today. He's reached base all 5 times, faces the new pitcher, Zach Weber. First pitch fastball in there for a strike. The 6'2 right-hander, junior from Lebanon, Ohio. And it's been a good start to the season for Zach with a 2.25 ERA as the rain starts to come down a lot harder all of a sudden. 2 pitches for Zach, and there's out number 2 quickly. Arado finally retired for the first time today. Here's Andre Demetrol. We just got a huge, split second boom. Here comes the rain.
Yeah, it's coming down pretty heavy right now. They're definitely, with the turf infield, going to push through it in the 10th inning so far. But with Arado in that last at-bat, you don't see too many times where he puts the ball in play after 2 pitches. Not that aggressive of a player. I wonder if he's going to the dugout thinking about how maybe he wanted to be more patient. I know the coaches are looking to get him a little bit more aggressive, so they might be a little bit happier with that, even though it turned into an out.
Jake Nelson, though, is in scoring position after that ground out. He's at second base. Nelson drove in the go-ahead run. 6-5 lead for the Huskies here in the top of the 10th inning. The Bobcats will have Paulie Mancino, Alex Finney, Bryce Smith due up in the bottom of the 10th inning. 6, 7, 8 hitters. 2-1 pitch is downstairs, 3-1.
It's tough to pitch in this kind of weather, of course. Don't have quite the grip on the ball that you want to. Don't get quite the spin rate that you want to on any of your pitches. So a little tougher to place it where you want it.
Outside, ball 4. We're expecting just today, from a weather standpoint, only pop-up showers. Tomorrow is really the day where it's supposed to rain and not stop. So we do expect this to taper off. Andre Demetrol heads down to first base after the walk, and that'll bring up Colin Summerhill. Summerhill has been very quiet. He's reached base a bunch of times with 3 walks and then also contributed with a sacrifice fly RBI, but we haven't seen that big hit. He's got 7 homers. This would be a massive time to put one over the wall.
Yeah, I will say he did, on that line out to right field.
He did square one up.
Definitely put a dent in that baseball. Just not a good spot for it as the right fielder was able to get to it. So he's seen the ball pretty well. As we said, he's doing what he wants. Walked a couple of times, got the sac fly, and then barreled one up. Just hasn't quite gotten one to drop for a hit yet.
1 ball and 1 strike with 2 outs in the top of the 10th inning. Ohio still out hitting NIU 10-9 as Summerhill hits a high chopper right behind the second base bag. Some miscommunication there. And J.R. Nelson got it in front of Finney and touched the second base bag to retire the side. So some little bit of confusion there, but the Bobcats get out of it. We go to the bottom of the 10th. Ohio trails by 1 run, 6-5 here in Athens, trying to climb back once again. We'll see you on the other side here from Athens for the bottom of the 10th.
Are the same height. There's just no way. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
There's just no way.
Paulie Mancino stands in. Ohio trails by 1, 6-5. 1 ball and no strikes. The new pitcher is DJ Hess. He is the only Husky to record a save this season through 13 games. 6'2" senior. 1 ball and 1 strike. Out of Germantown, Wisconsin, transfer from College of Lake County.
Hasn't given up a run so far this year. He's only pitched 2 1/3 innings.
1-1 is crushed down the right field line, still going, gone! Paulie's playground. He goes yard, and we're tied at 6. Paulie Mancino's 2nd home run of the season. Clutch.
Opposite field there for Mancino. And that was definitely not a no-doubter. He was sprinting around first base and absolutely pumped when that one left the yard. Hess, who hasn't given up a run all year, puts one in a very solid spot. But Mancino lifts it to right field, ties this game up. Still no outs, bottom of the 10th inning, Sam.
My goodness. First pitch swinging here for Alex Finney. Popped up into shallow left center. And this time sure-handed Charlie Parcell. Wow. Paulie Mancino does have some serious power. I spoke to Jacob Tate before the season, and Jacob Tate, who is a 6'6" redshirt senior pitcher, told me that Paulie would give him fits during multiple inter squads. First pitch is a strike to Bryce Smith, and the count's 0-1. Paulie was giving every pitcher, at least for Jacob, he was giving him fits. And to go oppo, that's some serious power the other way.
He's given NIU fits today. Got a single, triple, and a home run. If this game lasts little bit longer, he might have a chance for the cycle. Just a double away, but bottom of the 10th, we'll see if he gets another at-bat. Bobcats are hoping he doesn't.
Called strike 3. So in a blink of an eye, Bryce Smith is down on strikes. Paulie Mancino, Zach Mothersbaugh, is a double shy of the cycle.
We'll see. Bobcats don't want him to get up. They want to walk this one off right here. But
Right, obviously. Here's J.R. Nelson. That's low for a ball, 1-0.
just in case this game continues, keep that in the back of your mind. Mancino just double away from the cycle.
Outside for a ball, 2-0. J.R. Nelson grounds it sharply to third, and Seegers, who came off the bench as a defensive replacement, makes the play to retire the side. We are not done yet. Whew, these two teams going back and forth. Tied at 6, heading to the 11th inning. Game 1 of our doubleheader today is living up to all the hype. Come back with us for the top of the 11th from Athens. Top of the 11th inning, we march on. And the first pitch is a called strike on the bottom of the zone to Mason Kelly, who hit a solo homer in the 9th inning. Zach Weber fires. 0-1 is fouled off. 0-2. You have to give a ton of credit to these two teams who are just flat out going at it. And just when you think NIU go up by 1, bottom of the 9th inning, Ohio down to their final out. So on, it's, Ohio's just not giving up here. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of big time hits from NIU and a lot of responses from the Bobcats. Kelly at the plate had one of those. You talked about it, the solo home run in the top of the 9th. NIU thought they were out of it, but an error in center field by the freshman allows OU to send this one to extras, and now here we are in the top of the 11th.
1-2, grounded foul. Third base side. Paulie Mancino, folks. A game-tying solo home run in the bottom of the 10th inning to put this game at 6 apiece. This already feels like a conference tournament game with how intense it's been. No team has had a lead larger than 3. And the game has been tied. It was tied from the 4th inning all the way to the 9th at 4 apiece.
Yeah, you can tell how much both dugouts want this, both teams want this. A lot of big-time hits, a lot of big-time celebrations.
2-2, swung on and missed, strike 3. Zach Weber retires Mason Kelly. And that'll bring up Christian Seegers, who will bat for the first time today, a defensive replacement. Zach Weber coming out of the pen with that 2.25 ERA. Looking solid. That's a first pitch fastball, bottom of the zone, strike one. Strike two. Weber's not wasting any time.
Absolutely not. Getting ready to try and put the Bobcats in the bottom of an inning where they have a chance to win it, not down a run, don't have to come back.
Slider misses down and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
That's a good idea there. See if you can get a chase right there from Seegers, but left it a little too far outside and a little too far down.
1 ball and 2 strikes. And Seegers drills it foul right side. Christian Seegers hitting just 161 this season in 10 games, 8 starts.
He has struck out 15 times so far this season, so see if Weber can get him to strike out again.
A 1-2 pitch. Good job, Seegers laying off it. The junior from Schaumburg, Illinois, transferred from Creighton, former Blue Jay. Two. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Saw a little bit of frustration right there out of Weber after that pitch bounced on the turf. Looking for something a little more competitive.
3-2 pitch, waved at and missed. Strike 3. Zach Weber back-to-back strikeouts here in the top of the 11th.
And that's how you wanted this inning to look if you're Zach Weber. Easy work of the first 2 hitters. A little bit late into the count in the last at-bat, but still got him nonetheless. Gauthier now 0 for 5 on the game so far.
Yeah, J.P. Gauthier recovering from that injury he had in the preseason. First year with the program, transferred from Illinois State. 2 balls and no strikes. So back healthy clearly because he's playing first game of the season, but it's taken him some time to get back here clearly with the 0 for at the moment. 3-0.
Yeah, I mean, you come into a game where, how long has it been since you've seen live pitching, since you've seen in-game pitching, and you're going up a guy against like Jacob Tate, who's pitched a number of times this season, Knapp, Schaefer, Weber. So these guys are all a little bit more in tune with the season so far, and Gauthier just wasn't. So it's going to take a little bit of time to catch up, I think, for him. Go a long way if he could get something to fall this late in the game in a clutch situation. If he could get around to score, I think that would maybe snap him back into it. But until then, it's going to be a little slow.
3-1. Pulled foul into Ohio's dugout. And for JP, this is a guy who he was expected to be the team's starting center fielder at the beginning of the season, and then got hurt, so Charlie Parcell took the spot, the freshman, and now willingly has moved to right field as this is fouled back. 3-2 as Zach Weber looks to strike out the side.
Yeah, and you'll have to see that move from a guy like Gauthier. Obviously, it's tough to lose your spot in center field because of an injury, but the freshman came in, Charlie Parcell, played incredibly well. Gauthier, as you said, more than willing to move to right field to keep the outfield intact. Takes a walk here, so he'll be on base for the first time today.
Close, but not close enough. For the first time today, C.J. Sapicki will stand into the batter's box. Sapicki came on as a pinch runner back in the 10th. First pitch, a slider that curls way outside, 1-0.
182 on the season for Sapicki. He has struck out 7 times. He does have a stolen base. No extra base hits as he grounds that one up the middle.
Another tough play. J.R. Nelson just wide. It pulls the first baseman, Bryce Smith, off the bag. But again, we go back to just the tools that J.R. Nelson has at short. his ability to change arm slots when he makes plays at the shortstop position. He had to go sidearm there, and the throw just wide.
Yeah, it looked like that one, like you said, was a little high. I'm not sure if they were going to get Sapicki anyways. That throw was have to be really rushed. That was an incredibly tough play. Made it closer than maybe you thought it was off the bat, as that one is lined up the middle.
Trouble now. NIU once again takes the lead, this time in the top of the 11th as Gauthier scores on an RBI single from the freshman Charlie Parcell. So it was Parcell who made the error in the 9th inning to give Ohio life and tie the game. And Parcell, a couple of innings later, able to bounce back. 7-6 Huskies.
Yeah, 2 strikeouts to start this inning. Looked like Weber was in a bit of a groove so far, and then gives up a walk, 2 singles. You know, those 2-out walks, a lot of people say that they normally come around to score. Just a guy on first with 2 outs after that 2-out walk this time, though, so maybe Weber felt a little safe, but 2 straight singles, and now the Bobcats are in another deficit, as that one should touch down in right field.
Wow, a blooper. Mancino, he's got an arm cut off, though, and another run scores. Sapicki. 2 out hitting for the Huskies. First it was C.J. Sapicki, Charlie Parcell, and then Jake Nelson, most recently getting it done. 8-6 NIU here in the 11th.
And this is what NIU was looking for. Last 2 times, 9th inning and 10th inning, they only went up by 1 run going into the bottom of the inning where the Bobcats hit, and now they put 2 runs on the board, put a little bit more room in between them. We'll see if it's still Hess coming out into the bottom of the 11th inning.
Zach Weber was on the doorstep, Zach, of a 1-2-3 inning. He struck out the first 2 batters of this frame, and then the 2-out walk, man, costly. And it was a full count, too, to J.P. Gauthier. And sometimes in the moment it's like, all right, it's just a walk, 2 outs, get 1 more. And it's bled into now 2 runs so far here in the top of the 11th.
3 straight singles, not an insane amount of damage. Of course, the 2 runs across, but, not terribly hard hit, not going behind the outfielders to the wall, but just consistent, getting the ball to touchdown in the outfield.
Ohio will have the top of the order due up in the bottom of the 11th. 0-2 is just outside, a 1-2 to Eric Arado, who is at the plate for the 7th time today here in the top of the 11th. 2-2.
Early 0-2 count for Arado, but we've talked about his ability to get counts, to get deep in counts before. So don't be surprised if he keeps Weber throwing some pitches.
Fly ball, left side, foul. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Eric Arado, who has walked 3 times and has singled twice.
Looking at the scoreboard, you can see Ohio has climbed up to 3 errors so far on this game.
Weber strikes out Arado, and yeah, some of those errors have been costly as we are done with 10.5. We go to the bottom of the 11th inning. The Ohio Bobcats need 2 now to extend this game. We'll be back in a moment here from Athens. Bottom of the 11th inning, folks, and the Bobcats with an opportunity to once again tie this game. They were down in the bottom of the 9th by a run, tied it. Down in the bottom of the 10th by a run, tied it. Down here in the bottom of the 11th by 2 runs. And here we go. Cole Williams takes just outside ball 1. DJ Hess set to work his 2nd inning out of the pen. We mentioned it earlier. He's the only Husky with a save this season through 13 games.
Nearly looking to get close to doubling the amount of innings he's thrown all season, just 2 1/3 coming into this one. Looking to go 2 strong in this game today.
Cole Williams, 1 ball and 2 strikes. He's looking for his 2nd hit of the game. 1 for 5, 2-2. Ohio can come back from any deficit, especially after what happened last game. 3-2. The Bobcats were down 13-1 in the 3rd inning. Came back to win that game 21-19. Now that's, there's midweek madness that factors into that. You never know what's going to happen on a midweek game. Bouncer to 2nd. Easy play for Nelson. 1 up, 1 down.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to flinch down 2 when they didn't flinch down 12 on Tuesday. But rare you see these kind of big comebacks 2 weeks in a row. Ohio trying to do that today.
Taylor Gill, who drew a critical walk in the 9th inning, takes a strike, 0-1. Taylor Gill has walked 3 times. Again, we've seen some really good at-bats from the Bobcats today. But 3 errors, certainly costly.
Yeah, that's what they're trying to clean up.
Yep.
A number of those throwing errors so far today. So if they can clean that up, they're going to be in a lot better spot down the stretch.
Lazy fly to center field. Charlie Parcell is there, and Ohio is down to its final out. But a tough out because Gideon Antle is coming to the plate. Now, you would have liked to have Gideon come to the plate with a runner on base because then a home run would tie it. So now if you're Gideon, you obviously still want to try to, do damage here, but maybe swinging for the fences might not be the best idea with nobody on base.
Yeah, his run doesn't exactly matter as much for the Bobcats. It's the next run that matters with A.J. Roush on deck, who, again, we talked about it before, is a good hitter in his own right. So 2 tough hitters, up 2 runs for the Huskies.
Just outside. Already Gideon Antle now down to his final strike. Ohio trails 8-6 in the bottom of the 11th inning. Win or lose, both of these teams have absolutely given it their all. DJ Hess gets Antle to chase. Game over. An 11-inning marathon goes the way of NIU. 8-6 your final score as Gideon Antle climbs the ladder on that final pitch, and DJ Hess gets the job done. Tough loss for the Bobcats to open up MAC play. But give credit to NIU. They set the tone every single inning from the 9th, 10th, and the 11th, scoring first in all of those frames.
Yeah, forced the Bobcats to play comeback in those 9th, 10th, and 11th innings. Of course, it's tough to go out there and score a run and then realize you have to go into the next inning 2 times in a row. Gideon Antle, we were talking about him a lot. He's 1 for 6 so far in this game. A rare game for Gideon Antle. Didn't have too much success. I mean, he was 4 for 6 with 2 home runs on Tuesday. He did have the 1 big 3-run bomb, but at the end of the day, it was the Huskies getting runs when it mattered.
So our final score, once again, Ohio falls to NIU 8-6 in 11 innings. And we will play game 2 of our doubleheader in approximately 45 minutes. So looking at an estimated first pitch time of 3:15 Eastern. So grab a bite to eat, get up off the couch, and take a quick break. But we'll be back. We'll be back. Final thoughts here from the game, Zach.
Yeah, what a big time game from a lot of players for NIU. Eric Arado, last 2 at-bats he got out, but for the first 5 at-bats, he reached base every single time. Summerhill reached base 3 times, didn't have a single hit though, 3 walks, so Ohio's still in a spot where maybe you want to focus on clearing up the walks, clearing up the errors. NIU coming off of those really tough stretch of games, we talked about that before this matchup today, that they've been playing a lot of Power 5 schools, a lot of tough games, and today they come in. The pitching was a lot better for both teams. No runs between the 4th inning and the 9th inning for either team. It was an error in the 9th inning for Northern Illinois that allowed to run the score to send this one into extras. So you like what you saw, I think, if you're both teams in terms of your pitching staff. Brockville went 6 1/3, gave up 9 hits through 92 pitches, but only 4 earned runs. So that's what you're looking for. Both these teams need to figure it out. Pitching, Ohio needs to figure it out on defense, and NIU, massive. I mean, it's going to feel really good getting those hits in clutch time moments, going into this next game with a doubleheader, and then going into a game, whether it's played tomorrow or Sunday.
All right, so we say so long for now. Game 1 in the books, but we will have Game 2 in approximately 45 minutes between Ohio and Northern Illinois. For our outstanding crew and my broadcast partner, Zach Mothersbaugh, our field reporter, Kylie Osco, we will talk to you in about 45 minutes for Game 2 between the Bobcats and the Huskies. Thanks for watching.